zoom in, the words say like all work and no play.
Yeah, Dragon Ball. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't like yellow. I think that looks more emblematic too.
The details in this,
and then plus it still says all work and no play.
Yeah, like that's so good.
Are we talking about the actual 4K artwork?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like somebody cared.
Somebody did care.
I'm gonna have to read.
It's probably what's his name from Filmworker.
Yes, it is. It did get his authorization.
It got his stamp of approval.
Yes, he was directly working on that restoration.
That's spectacular.
So,
that dude knows his Kubrick.
You know, if Leon Vitali gives his stamp of approval, I'll trust it.
Even though he's so
any relation to Mario Batali? It's a joke, Zach. It is a joke.
That's gonna be the third copy I own of that movie. Damn it.
I actually own no copies of it right now.
I own the European cut. I own the American cut. Now I own the 4K cut.
I got the notification.
You ever seen the European cut?
I can't say that I have.
It's 20 minutes shorter.
Okay.
It's, I don't like it.
Crack this open.
Crack it open a cold one with the boys.
That's right. Cold Waterloo. I saw, do you follow movie set memes on Facebook?
No.
Are we live?
Yeah, we are live.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we are live now?
Yeah.
It's good to know these things.
Yeah, no,
That's why I mentioned
I said it twice. I did say it twice. Movie
I
set
don't
memes
think you
is
caught
great
on to
though.
that.
Like if you go follow it, I think it's a closed group, but I'll just add you. And that's where I post some of the funny movie stuff that I put up. And somebody put up a meme that said, I was really excited about this gig until, and the pictures of a giant refrigerator full of LaCroix.
Boy, if that's not true.
Yep. Nasty. All right, so are we just doing?
Yeah, I think we're just going into it.
Are we just are we gonna do the opening that you said?
Yes.
Or are we just gonna start?
Yes.
Are that what we're gonna do?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, ready?
3.
On this episode of the Culture Smash Cast,
Avengers
Assemble!
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
It's not falling?
You blew it. You blew it.
Yeah, you screwed it up.
Yep, as
Okay.
always. It's the Culture Smash Cast, episode 491 for May the 15th, 2019. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of CultureSmash.tv.
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to CultureSmash.tv.
Zach Martin, a child boy that has somehow walked into the room.
That is the most accurate statement.
Tina Heinbach, contributor to CultureSmash.tv.
All right. So what's everybody been up to?
I watched Detective Pikachu.
How was that?
It was cute.
It was cute. It was if you grew up watching Pokemon, it's definitely a movie you should go see.
Yeah, I think it will definitely resonate with stuff that you will appreciate being in the Pokemon fandom, even if you're not as
Pokemon Go player?
Yeah, or not as up on like some of the more recent generations of Pokemon. Because
So what if you don't watch the show?
There are definitely ones in there I didn't recognize.
There's only 151.
Yeah, sure. If you don't watch the show, if you don't really care about the franchise, I think it's a perfectly suitable kind of kid family movie.
Yeah.
This whole movie about this kid dealing with loss and then finding this adorable animal companion basically to help him through it. So it is very much a kind of archetypal movie in that way.
Okay.
Let me ask this one question. Because this will
Just
determine...
one?
Yeah, this will
Okay.
determine whether I go or not.
Since when have you ever asked just
How much
one?
Jigglypuff are we talking?
Like,
Only like a scene.
yeah, like 2 seconds.
Man, I'm out. Yeah.
Jigglypuff is
Yeah.
Zach's favorite.
That's my favorite Pokemon.
Wasn't that
My
Within
favorite
2 seconds, I'm out, man.
My
His
favorite
favorite-
saves the day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wasn't that your Facebook like
Yes!
thing forever? The
Yeah.
Jigglypuff.
Yeah, different faces on Jigglypuff and like an evil face.
I
and,
mean,
like,
granted, right now mine is just my Facebook profile is a Mew in a box that says Gundam.
I was going to
So.
say, though, Jigglypuff is the troll of the Pokemon television series, so that makes a lot
It
of
makes
sense.
perfect sense now
Hey,
that
man,
you say
we're gonna
that.
ride on your face. I'll tell you.
But they do have that. So,
Oh, they do
yeah.
that? Okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe I might be in now.
Yeah.
So the word I've been hearing from a lot of places is that it is what you said. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
not. It's probably not something you're going to remember past this year.
It has a
but
couple
it's
of
fun.
Easter eggs for those of us like me and Nico who grew up watching Pokemon, the TV show, and Mewtwo Strikes Back. There's a couple of nods to that.
Okay.
So I
Really?
yeah
there are nods in the movie.
yeah
So the movie's canon,
yes.
but nobody remembers what happens in the movie.
We'll watch it and you'll find out.
Okay.
So part of me kind of wished, because Zach and I got
Plus, we needed to contribute to one of Zach's 3 movies.
one of Zach's 3 movies.
Yeah.
One of the ones
we're
he
gonna
spent
get to that.
$45 on.
Right. See, I felt like we've been so out of the loop because it was film ball bidding last week, but what a good bidding!
It was great.
so
It was
that
fun.
was
It was
so
super
fun.
fun.
It was. But Zach and I have tickets to 40X, and we're seeing a second viewing of John Wick, which Zach actually made a good joke about that. Because he didn't want to go see it at first because we discussed buying tickets, and there's a scent machine in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just there's scent machine. And what did you say? Do we want to sit there and smell cigarettes and burnt rubber? the whole
Cigarettes, bourbon, burnt rubber, smoke, bullets,
Is that
Gunpowder.
really the experience that you want to have?
gasoline fumes.
Well, now we've got press tickets, so we're going to do it and see.
That little coppery scent that comes with a massive amount of blood.
The blood, yeah. But part of me kind of wish we'd gotten them for Pikachu instead, just to see. But I don't know. I think this will be a better movie.
Yeah, I think it
So you went and saw a few documentaries as well.
I had a great documentary weekend. Okay, and I did one thing that was I laughed about it in retrospect because
You
but I
didn't
didn't
do research at all.
No, well, not just that, but just the way it came out. Because I started the day watching Hail Satan.
Oh yeah,
Hail
I've been wanting
Satan.
to watch that. Oh,
God, I watched
Excellent
this movie.
documentary.
And
I mean, let's face
It's on
it. It's one of the ones I would
It's
definitely
on
want to
Belcourt?
watch.
Belcourt,
Yeah,
okay.
it's on the
Yeah,
Belcourt.
And
Okay.
you know what's really crazy about it now is, I mean, we don't really talk politics on here, but there's so many things very specific happening in a couple of states in the country right now that have drawn the ire of this organization that my Facebook is now flooded with their ads because of seeing the movie. And the ads make me laugh because the movie makes you laugh. It's
Yeah.
not.
It's a funny movie.
It's really funny. It's
Yeah.
really funny. I mean, just to have like, the soccer mom from next door that looks like an innocent little Christian lady go, "Hail Satan." It never stops being funny. It never just stops being
You're gonna
funny.
go to hell. I'm looking forward to it. I'm
Like-
very excited.
Honestly, okay, this coming from somebody with generally very liberal views, being raised in a very Bible Belt, city and state. I have more
We are
appreciation
in the
for
blue dot.
Satanists than I do for Christians.
Yep. Well, and you will have a lot more appreciation once you see this movie because it's not about what a lot of people think it's about.
Yeah.
And what's funny is
It was odd to tell my coworkers at work that, oh yeah, I saw this great documentary. It's called Hail Satan.
yep.
They
So
were just like,
it follows basically the core of it is this group, the Satanic Temple, is working against a town that's trying to put
Missouri.
Yeah,
Or is
in
it
Missouri.
Phoenix,
Yeah, I think you're
or-
right. Yeah, and they're trying to put up a memorial to the Ten Commandments in front of their courthouse. And their argument is, well, okay, if you're not going to separate church and state, then you have to be fair and balanced. So we want our icon there too.
Yeah.
So
They,
it
they
becomes
also say like we encourage Buddhists. We encourage.
Yeah.
they're like everybody put your stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the point of the whole thing. And honestly, I mean, I agree with it.
Yes,
I agree
if you-
with their
you gotta be
Absolutely.
equal and
thing.
fair.
Yeah.
Lucifer was the first one to campaign for human equal rights.
I
What? No,
That
seriously.
got a chuckle out of me in the theater.
yeah. Well, and there's interesting stuff. Like, I'm not going to spoil because you just go and learn it watching the movie, but they give you like the legit specific definition that they adhere to in regards
like
to the
their-
word Satan. Or
yeah,
what does it
literal
mean? What's it
mission
for?
statement, yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. It's funny, and it it's obviously message driven.
Yeah.
It is, and there were one or two people in there who didn't agree with.
Really?
Yes, I was told by
Oh,
one of the programmers there that it's consistent. There's a lot of evangelists and stuff coming and watching the movie so that they can comment on it.
Oh my god! I didn't
Yeah.
have any of that in my audience.
Yeah. Oh well, nothing happened during the movie. It's just conversations that happen in the lobby afterwards.
Oh,
yeah.
like in the lobby, yeah.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Like you're not hearing huffing and puffing in the back or anything like that.
No. There wasn't any of that. It was a good audience, like it almost always is. The book court. So I saw that one. Highly recommend. It's probably going to be in my top 10 this year.
Yeah, it's probably going to be in mine too.
Yeah, and then I segued from that right into the Dr. Ruth biopic, And it's
Yes.
so fascinating how many people don't know who Dr. Ruth is. I'm like, how do you
Well,
not
I think
know?
I think it's a generational thing because
I
she
know
has,
who Dr. Ruth is.
but
Yeah,
she
but,
hasn't
like,
been as popular and
My,
relevant in
if
the
I
last.
if I went to my 15-year-old niece right now and I say, "Do you know who
you're not
Dr.
gonna
Ruth
know.
is?" She'd be like, "Huh?"
And those are the people that need to watch the documentary
Yeah.
because a lot of what they
Because
get-
our sexual education classes are failing us. So half
Well-
the stuff that I knew came from Dr.
well,
Ruth.
it's not even that. A lot of what you can say and do in schools and in media now
Yeah.
is because of what
Yeah.
she did in the 80s.
Yeah.
She's hilarious too.
Have you,
She's really funny.
Have you seen the clip of her in her like little old lady deep German accent going, "Let's talk about sex, baby."
No, but I could see that. I could see that. But she's 91 in the movie, and
Holy cow.
she is more active than we are. Like her day, she still teaches at 2 colleges. She teaches like sex therapist type classes. She does that and all the speaking stuff that she still does and all this business. But she's really funny. And if you go see it, you have to stay through the credits because they show outtakes with her. And she becomes your grandma in those outtakes. And she's trying to like she's at a party, and this is not spoiling the movie at all. This is just a blooper. But she's trying to feed the camera guy strawberries. She's like, "Oh, honey, you've got to try it. It's so good." And you see her little hands come. She said, "Take another one. It's the last one." This is the woman talking about how to properly put the penis inside the vagina.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what she's talking about?
Yeah. Oh, she talked
We know
about...
you don't have much experience with that, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just stick to porn.
Yeah,
You know.
well, there you go.
That's accurate, though, right?
Yeah, yep, it's exactly accurate.
Okay.
But you learn a whole lot of... I learned so much about her.
have you guys
Where she comes from and how she ended up where she is fascinating. And again, really funny and entertaining or whatever. But what's really... as far as the way that day went is I stuck around for Amazing Grace.
And there was the misstep.
So you know, they've been showing this
Because
trailer.
you were like, I'm going to go to Amazing Grace. I'm like, why the hell is Steve
Okay,
gonna
so
go to
well, I see documentaries about everything.
Yeah.
So do you know about this movie, Amazing Grace?
I do not.
Okay, so what it is in the late 70s, Aretha Franklin wanted to put out
Yeah.
a gospel album.
Yeah, it was the
And they were going to do a movie about her process of putting that, and they never finished the movie because of rights and all that stuff.
Titles of documentaries, you tell me like generally what it's about, and I've probably heard of it.
So I was excited to see it because I love music docs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
And Aretha Franklin,
Her vocal,
was-
she could sing anything, and
Yeah.
I would listen to it. It'd be great. But it wasn't lost on me that I started the day with Hail Satan and ended with Amazing Grace. But what?
in between you had some sex.
Yeah, exactly. So I had a full day.
Yeah,
You finally went
But-
to church.
I do want to say something about Amazing Grace, though. It is not a documentary.
Oh no.
I actually, and I don't
knew that.
I don't leave early from movies often. The last time I did was when Zach and I went and saw Keanu, which was terrible. At the movie.
Actually, wait, no. Did you? Yeah, you sat through all of Transformers.
Yeah.
So.
The
With
Transformers
Ada.
I walked out on was
Well,
before Keanu.
Yeah.
That was just because Catherine and Nathan called me to go get drunk, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'd rather.
I was about to say the other one. You
I
got
need
to sit
to.
through with no audio.
Yeah. So it's a concert film. There is no documentary to it at all. It's just her singing gospel music, which is beautiful.
It's shocking to me. That
But you
didn't
could
know
listen to
I
that
knew
on a CD as opposed to.
Well, I don't. Gospel music's not my thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to see a documentary about the doing it,
Well,
the
yeah.
making of it.
Yeah.
And they give you,
you
a few
saw
minutes-
that earlier with the Dr. Ruth story.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not doing that. Doing the other thing. But yeah, it's like. And Zach was like, "Well, you didn't get that from the trailer." There are so many music docs that I can point out. The trailer shows nothing but the performance in it, and then when you watch the
Yeah.
movie, you get the interviews and things. And
It,
no,
it doesn't say like for the director credit. It doesn't say directed by. It just says realized by.
Well, I didn't see that. I
Yeah.
can't read the credits.
Which says to me, this isn't a doc. This is a
well, I
concert.
didn't. Well, I obviously couldn't read that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so about 45 minutes in, I just sort of slipped out there. But the other two movies, you gotta go see.
All the
them,
interviews
so-
were at that.
Now,
after that
okay,
last-
so
Yeah.
By the way,
Zach's
right.
joke about the whole, miseducation of sex. Have you guys, on a slightly off topic, but you'll see where it's related,
Mm-hmm.
have you guys seen that tweet by a random woman who's like, guys, women also enjoy sex, and like a guy comes in like screaming louder than a 757, be like, no they don't, not the way And we're like, you probably should rethink how you're trying to phrase this.
Probably should watch some Dr. Ruth episodes. That's pretty fun.
For those that can't get out to see Dr. Ruth, like if it's not playing in their area, it is coming to Hulu. I want to say June or July.
Soon.
Don't
Yeah,
you dare
that's
go to
how
the
I
theater
heard
and
about
see
it.
that
No,
movie.
I'm saying
Well, no,
if
that's
it's
how I
not
heard
in
about
your
it.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew it was coming to, and I think Hail Satan's also coming to some streaming service.
I'm
So-
sure.
Yeah.
I'm
I thought I
sure.
heard. Yeah.
If we have the chance to
Yeah.
go see it in theaters, we will.
It's worth. It's this year's RGB.
Yeah.
Is what it is. I don't regret seeing that one in the theater. I was glad to support that film, and I felt the same about
Yeah.
Dr. Ruth. It's like, it's an empowered woman who's made a lot of impressive changes to our country. It's worth seeing. Spend some money, but I'll probably watch it again on Hulu because it's great. It's great.
What are
movie.
some other movies in theaters?
So there's some other movies in theaters if you're interested.
You copied the top 12 instead of the top 2.
Which is a little weird. I was like, why is it not fitting? So I'm just going to start at number 10 with the box office. The Curse of Lala.
I gotta admit that I love
Llorona.
that 11 and 12 is Captain Marvel and Shazam.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zach probably doesn't even realize in a certain way it could be the same person.
Yeah.
What?
Captain Marvel?
Shazam was
Originally
in the
called
comics,
Captain
originally
Marvel.
called
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
Oh.
Yeah. But number 10, let
So-
me pronounce the movie for you.
Do
is
it.
The Curse of La Llorona.
Llorona. It made 1.8 million over the weekend. It's made 51 so far on a $9 million budget. So these
This is one of my
Well, but
favorite
your horror
urban
movies, it works.
they
legends.
still
yeah.
make money. Yeah. Number 9 is Tolkien. I didn't know this already opened. I want to
Yep.
see it. It's,
Oh, yeah, that's
basically,
one that
it's
I
a
wanted to
biopic.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
It made 2.2 million. No budget on that one.
Yeah, the entire Tolkien estate has disavowed this film.
I think really.
Yes.
Now I really want to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they basically said this is not representative of J.R.R. Tolkien. We do not put our stamp of the seal on.
I'm very curious about it, but I, for some reason, always felt on edge about, like, I don't, it's a weird, I guess, it makes sense for a biopic, but, I don't know, something about it just seemed kind of odd to me in the trailers.
Well,
It felt under-marketed to me.
well, it's definitely under marketed.
It's 20th
and
Century
what
Fox,
little
so-
marketing they've done is they've really tried to trade on Lord of the Rings a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah,
which
absolutely.
I think that's what it is. It's the whole movie is just like throwing Lord of the Rings in your face, and
Yeah.
it makes, I get it, but it's like this is a movie about an author who
did a lot of
in
work.
real world, so all the fantasy elements are just kind of out of place.
yeah, I don't disagree with that. All right, so number 8 is Breakthrough. I don't know what this one is.
It's Christian propaganda.
Is it 2.5 million? 2.2 million so far opening weekend. No budget on this one.
It's not.
No,
No,
it's
14.
it's got a $14 million budget. You
does it?
skipped a line. You went back.
Oh,
and
yeah,
told-
yeah.
It's
It's-
made $37 million so far.
Yeah.
Out of a
Oh, that's
$14 million
right.
budget.
Yeah.
they
It's
say,
made 37 million.
They say
Yeah.
if you're gonna watch Christian propaganda, this is probably the one with the least offensive Christian propaganda, but it's still Christian propaganda.
Oh, is this the one with the kid in the ice?
Yeah,
and,
he,
and
Yeah.
Luke
he like
Cage?
breaks through.
It's
the
another
ice.
movie that
Yeah.
looks like a Lifetime
And
movie.
Luke Cage is
Yeah.
in it, so
Mhm.
that's all
Luke
I-
Cage is in it?
Yeah.
Wow, he still needs money, I guess. All right, number 7
Not gonna show
is
anymore. Ugly Dolls.
Ugly Dolls. It made a little over 4 million. It's made 14.
You mean Nick Cage?
No, Mike Coulter, the guy who
Oh,
plays Luke
okay.
Cage, is in the movie.
I thought you meant Nick Cage.
No, I meant Luke Cage.
That's why I had to specify. I'm like, you could have just said Mike Coulter.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now I feel a little better. I'm like, I didn't see him in the trailer, but hey, this dude needs money. So
That's why
Mike
I
Coulter,
specified.
he definitely needs more work.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past him. He was in what, Left Behind, the new one.
It was in one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Nick Cage was in that one, not Luke Cage.
You're right.
Let's clarify this one.
So Ugly Dolls has a budget of $45 million. It made 14.
That's the CGI kids movie, Ugly Dolls.
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Coming way too late because I thought that fad was kind of over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 6.
Number 6 is what is
Palms.
Palms? What is
It's
that?
it's
I don't know any of the
A
movies.
bunch of grandmothers
Yeah, it's
join
a
like
woman
a
who's
cheerleader
older going to
Oh,
like a
I did see
retired
this.
Florida kind of estate, and she's like, you know what, we're still young. Let's start a cheerleading squad.
For bowling or something,
Did,
right?
did y'all say something
Something like
metal?
that.
Oh wait, no, that's a gun barrel going in my mouth.
Yeah, right. Well, it made almost 5.5 million over the weekend.
budget,
No
though.
budget there. Number 5 is Long Shot. That one made 6.2 million. It's made 19, almost 20 million. I don't know what that is either.
That's the Seth Rogen,
Seth Rogen
and I forget
Has
the
worst.
Why
trailer.
are so many of the movies that are out now? Because when you say it, I remember it.
Yeah.
But the movies
Because
just,
there's barely
'Cause,
anything
yeah.
out
well,
there.
the
Yeah.
names aren't that great.
they're not.
That and I mean, honestly, if the trailer's memorable, I'll
I mean,
Oh,
this
yeah.
one.
Y'all remember to want to go
memorial
see
because
Yeah.
It was a horrible trailer.
Yeah.
But
And this
the
has
reviews-
Charlize Theron in
Charlize
it, who I
Theron,
Yeah.
love.
that's the
Yeah.
other
The
person.
reviews for this are relatively good.
They're pretty
And
positive,
then the
yeah.
you watch the trailer and you're like, oh, I think I'd rather not.
let me just okay. So T-Mobile Tuesday has for like the past 3 weeks get a $4 ticket to either John Wick or Long Shot.
But
Wow.
I bought the
Go to John Wick.
Well-
I bought the John Wick.
Well,
I
the-
still won't pay $4
Well,
to see this movie.
actually, the weird thing about it though is that in particular is the ticket has to be for showing before the 19th or by the 19th.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Whereas this movie came out like 2 weeks ago. John Wick comes out this weekend. You only have a 3-day window to use that ticket.
Guess what? I used it.
Because it's going to sell.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be huge. All right.
Number 4.
Number 4 is The Intruder 2019. How many movies are there with the same name? There's,
I don't know.
There's more. There's many of them. I think a little over 7 million. It's made 21.5 million so far on an $8 million budget. Number 3 is The Hustle. Finally, one that I actually recognize. It made 13 million this weekend.
Okay.
No budget.
Its budget was $150 million.
No.
What's
Oh,
budget?
I jumped the line. I jumped the line.
$1 million budget. That's very specific.
Well, I have a feeling.
I mean,
like this
honestly,
is also including
Infinity War?
Infinity War. I have
I mean,
a feeling, but I could be
Well,
wrong.
also
Could
keep in
be.
mind it's Disney. We're lucky we got a budget.
Because
Yeah, they don't usually give them. You're right.
Like
Look,
for real.
I'll be honest. If that's the budget for Endgame, you have the most expensive film ever made right here.
Yeah.
Like
And, well, people would be
Well,
talking about
Avatar
that too.
was
No.
costlier, wasn't it?
Not as much as
No.
this. I think Avatar was the first 250, wasn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't the first 250, but some people were projecting 500 million.
Speaking, well, Titanic before that was a huge one.
Yeah.
180.
So Avengers has surpassed.
Mike's not on.
We got volume on
got
the.
volume.
Yeah, we've got movement here. Let me see. Let me just look.
Pull it up.
Yep, we've got movement here. I mean,
Hector, your mic sucks.
Yeah, or his
Hector, I can't wait for you to get here.
right? Or it might be his internet.
Yep.
Yeah, we got audio.
We heard her.
Yes, sir, Hector. So that is you, my friend. It's probably your internet is sucking wind. So anyway, what I was going to get to is James Cameron has dominated the top 2 highest-grossing films of all time.
Until now,
which was Titanic and then Avatar. As of my last reading, it had passed Titanic.
Oh yeah,
not
it's past,
not Avatar
it's
yet,
getting there
but
now.
it will.
Yeah.
It's gonna. It's still got.
It's still got legs. Which,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna say it. Avatar was an original title.
What do you mean?
Avengers took 10 years to build up to that number.
No.
Avatar
Fair.
had no build up.
True, but what Avatar did have was groundbreaking technology that everyone wanted to see.
Absolutely. I can't even think. Yes.
So it was 10 years of technological
Actually, I
development.
think it was like 15.
Mm-hmm. So your argument
They were
does
working
not
on that
work
sucker
there.
for a
So-
long time.
Either way, it was unique cinematic storytelling in some way or fashion. On
I
on
will
both
say,
ends of the spectrum.
I will say that Avengers Endgame, I love seeing the memes of like it passing Titanic, like
Yeah.
there's SpongeBob memes.
And well, and James Cameron even did. James Cameron
James
did.
Cameron
had Avengers as the iceberg in Titanic.
Yeah.
like,
Although I saw that, I was like, Titanic should be split in half at this point.
yeah.
True. But he's good humored about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing.
that is
James
something.
Cameron got
He's
this
always
reputation.
Humored about people.
He is.
Yeah.
But because of that speech he did at the Oscars for winning, for Titanic winning,
I fully get what he was going for.
everybody who's a film person got it.
Yeah.
But it kind of cemented him as a douchebag.
Yeah.
And he really isn't. I think he's actually a pretty good humored guy who supports film and every kind of means. But yeah, that I'm the king of the world thing really kind of hurt.
I mean, it's like what we were talking about. Zach doesn't have the best tact, but once he explains something to a point, okay, so you weren't being a douche.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You're verging on a comment, a compliment. Don't do
I'm
it.
just trying.
All right,
I'll
all
be
right.
like, I'm serious here.
So we're already 26 minutes in.
We are. So
what's coming out this weekend?
Opening this weekend is John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Is
92%.
92% right now.
88 reviews, 92%.
That's
Oh, and then here's Nico's movie.
A Dog's Journey. It's
64%. That's a good number. That's
There you
that's
go.
not bad.
I mean, let's be real though. That's good programming.
Yeah.
Stuff for the adults, stuff for the kids.
That's true. So we have waited. How many weeks? Is it 3 weeks?
Yeah,
now?
it is now officially
Yes.
spoiler zone for Avengers Endgame.
If
So
you
if you
have
haven't
not
seen
seen
it,
Avengers Endgame, you
stop
literally
now
have
for the
no-
rest
Well,
of the
and
episode.
In the words
honestly-
of Tom Holland, please turn this off.
Exactly. But it's easy for them any listener to stop listening to this and
Yeah.
come back to it later.
Yeah.
So I was gonna kind of put together a approach to this, but I didn't have time. So how should we approach this discussion?
Snape kills
Badass.
Dumbledore.
Well, that was a
Badass.
different franchise entirely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's so many characters in this movie. You can't blame me for that.
Dat
Mm,
ass.
bam.
Okay.
America's ass.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So I think it's
Can we talk,
important.
like, I guess the first third and then the
Well,
second
Yeah.
third?
I think it's important to realize that when discussing this film, to fairly discuss it, you have to look at it for what it is, the culmination of
A decade.
22
yeah.
films.
Yes.
It's not just one film. This film,
Yeah.
it ties directly back to nearly every film that came before.
It does.
Which
It
In-
does.
sucks
in a-
because I haven't seen Thor: The Dark World. Now I have to see Thor:
this,
The Dark
I
World.
tried to say
Yeah.
it to you.
Yeah,
I tried to
you're-
tell you.
You're probably okay.
The only
No, I mean, there's a whole sequence where I'm like, his mom died? What?
yeah, you
I didn't know that.
I think you got what you needed out of that movie.
but it would have been an easier pill to swallow
Oh, it
if you
would've
been.
already knew.
Yeah.
The only film you could get away with, there's actually two. I think you could get away with not seeing Black Panther,
Yes.
and you could also get away with not seeing.
Iron Man 3.
No, Iron Man 3 you need
Okay,
to
Iron
see.
Man 3, yes.
Yeah.
But
Iron Man 2,
you could get away without seeing Captain Marvel for sure.
Yes.
I mean, they introduce her vaguely, and then she does a couple things in
She
the
makes
middle and
sexy
end.
eyes at Peter Parker, and that's all she does.
It's really
well,
yeah.
well, there were some movies. We can get into that. You don't have to see Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
movie and some other things. But overall, for the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Mm-hmm.
Endgame does a fantastic job on tying everything together.
Yeah.
It really.
It's good they
keys-
finished this, and they don't have any sequels lined up.
It really does
Yeah.
key into
It's
like points of franchises of movies that you've seen in the past. The first Avengers, the first Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor.
The
2
first
is,
Captain America.
The first Captain America. Thor 2 makes sense just because the tie into the Infinity Stones. Going back and revisiting, it's a victory lap.
Yeah.
That's what this movie is.
Yeah, it's a victory lap, and in the way of a relay, it's also a handoff
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
to
and
like
that's,
the next three.
and that's the
flagships.
part that I question, but I guess we'll get to that when we talk toward the end of the film. So I've seen it twice. How many times have you seen
Twice.
it?
Twice.
So my first viewing, it's really funny. You've seen it once, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just once, and you've seen it twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
My first viewing, I kind of thought that you could cut some time out of the first act.
You are correct. You are
But
actually correct.
On your
upon my second
second
viewing,
viewing-
I start to look at it.
It hits you harder.
Well, and you start to look at it as a whole for what it is,
Yeah.
and it's like
You could still
Nah.
cut out a good 3-4 minutes out of it. You could still.
3 or 4 minutes doesn't really have, and you might as well let the directors have 3 minutes. 3 minutes hasn't. If you
Yeah,
can't,
but now
if,
we're at the 3-hour mark instead of
but
going
if-
go over the 3-hour
well,
mark.
it's who cares at this
That's
point.
like Wolf of Wall Street. It's like we are at 2:59.
Well, that was that was a point of the film.
But no, I think that I kind of agree. I think the movie actually does impact a little bit more the second time around. I usually feel that way about movies generally because the first time I'm watching it, I'm anticipating everything.
Yeah.
It is hard to just sit there and take it in. But the second time, that's not a worry. So I'm just letting all the emotional impact just happen, and it really does, especially to the end. But at the beginning too, you do get a lot of really good moments. The desperation at the beginning of the movie coming. across.
There is a point that after our first viewing, I mentioned to Nico. He was like, I didn't really feel that. Our second viewing, he turned to me after we got out. He was like, you know what? You're right. It's totally like that. So.
Yeah.
I don't know how deep we're going into spoilers.
No, we're going 100%.
I don't remember
Yeah.
which part
There
that
It
are
was.
was
spoilers.
when the first viewing, when I was like, I felt like Black Widow's death got overshadowed by Iron Man. Like, it was just
It did.
Yeah.
It
And he
did.
was like, Second viewing, he turns to me, he's like, you know what? You were completely right.
Yeah.
Yes. Her death
So-
doesn't have the weight it should
And
have.
you know what? And that was one of the minor little. This is probably.
This is why, spoilers, I'm at an 8.
And see, I'm at a 9, and it's. Go ahead.
You were finishing a sentence.
I was just gonna say-
I'm at an 8.5 or a 9.
I had some few niggly little things, little problems I had with it, and one of them was I didn't know, but I was fairly certain that we would be done with
The main
Steve
five.
Rogers and we would be done with Tony Stark. I didn't know.
You didn't know
That
about
Black
Thor
Widow.
or Hawkeye
Especially
or
since
Black Widow.
I didn't
there
know
is
that-
a Black Widow movie.
Right.
Yeah,
So I had
yeah.
no clue that she was gonna be a character that gets killed. So the fact
you're
that was
expecting her
the
to come
one,
back the whole
it was
rest
the
of the
one that
film.
I expected to die. I didn't expect to die, and it just kind of
Yeah, it felt like it was
Yeah.
just part
And-
of the story. It
and-
wasn't. It
Because
wasn't.
it doesn't feel final in the story because
Yeah.
they're working towards their goal.
Yeah.
The fact that she doesn't come back, it doesn't hit you until you're like, oh yeah. she
Especially
did die.
since
And then
in
the-
Infinity
yeah.
War, Gamora dies, but we get Gamora back
Because
not
it
in
was
the
a
same
huge
way.
moment of like,
Not
oh
in the same.
God.
Not in the. It's not the same Gamora, but it is a Gamora. You held out that hope for Black Widow.
Pardon me.
right.
He's on call, so
But yeah,
Oh,
that
this
part,
is-
that was one of the little things that kind of just stuck in my craw a little bit
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she was around before a lot of the other characters.
She
It was
honestly-
her and Tony Stark were the first
well,
ones.
not only that,
were-
when the snap happens and you see that 5 years later, who's
I
the
was a
one
little
who's
bit like, holy crap,
who's
it's
the
5
one
years
who's,
later.
yeah, oh yeah. Who's the one who's holding it together, holding down that core group of people to make sure people are still being protected? It's her. They're reporting to her. Steve Rogers is helping people cope on the outside, but for the most part, he's given up. Tony Stark is like, screw this. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to have a family. I'm going to have,
I
a
think him
kid.
getting stabbed and looking death in the face
Thor,
probably had
bless
a huge-
him,
had
is going
to
through
do
Well, and that's
severe
his-
grief and depression.
and that's his second
Yeah.
near-death experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So it's Black Widow is the one who's like, okay, Captain Marvel, Nebula, Rocket, how's space doing? Okay, Okoye, what was that disturbance that we felt? Okay, you guys, if something happens, you report back here. We'll go. She's
And it's
the
never
one who
lost
holds
on
that
me
together.
that she's one of the ones that doesn't have any powers.
Yeah, she doesn't have any power. She doesn't have a safety
She's-
net of
she's
super
good at
strength
things.
or super
She's good
tech.
she's good at
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
She's John Wick almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's female.
Now,
dominant.
in the
I can see
comics,
that.
she does have a little bit of a supernatural edge. She does have kind of like a super soldier serum.
And that's
but
something they added to her later.
Yeah.
When she first came out, she was
just an assassin.
Yeah.
So the fact that they had her bare bones, this is old-fashioned Black Widow, no powers. She was just trained like this from birth.
They gave her the gauntlets, though, which was great. That's like a throwback to my childhood.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Black Widow without those.
But she didn't really use them much for a long time, and you got a couple of good shots with her using them in this movie, and I was like, all right, there you go.
But yeah, so, and she's the only one, I believe she is the only one who could have brought Hawkeye in.
Yeah.
Full on, stop the presses. Like, had it been Tony, Hawkeye would have said, screw off, I'm doing my thing. It's Natasha, it's his best friend, who... That scene on Vormir made it that much more heart-wrenching to watch. Because it was two friends debating who should take the fall. Literally.
I mean, it worked for me, but then it kind of in some ways didn't. Because there's been this sort of tit-for-tat tradition between those two characters. That, they're always trying to one-up each other or outfight each other a little bit or whatever. And when it started into that right before her death, I felt like it turned it a little comedic.
We're still on Black Widow death.
It undermined it due to comedic, which is a problem Marvel series has had. Don't say it hasn't, because it has had that problem where they'll have a dramatic moment and then just have comedy, and it's like
well, now
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok is a terrible movie, and it's one of the reasons it's a terrible movie is because there's no real drama in that movie. It's all just silliness, and it's Flash Gordon is what it is. It's not Thor or the Hulk.
But I mean, the other thing too is you're expecting her to come back, and nobody makes a big deal to go. Oh,
I never expected her to come back.
I didn't think she was coming back.
I thought she was coming back because that was the whole goal, to get everybody back.
So
everybody
but they set that as a standard.
You can't say everybody snapped and Natasha.
No, they set that as a standard. The only people they could bring back are victims of the snap.
Yeah.
Anybody else who died was gone.
Yeah. And as soon as...
Which is why the real Gamora was not... Which is why Loki was not... Which is why,
Heimdall,
or any of the Avengers, or
Vision.
They brought Loki back.
Well, but not through the way.
Yeah, not through the Infinity Gauntlet.
You just can't keep that son of a bitch dead, can you?
But the whole point is that I appreciate...
There is still money to be made from Tom Hiddleston.
But still, I appreciate the franchise, the movie and the franchise's dedication of, okay, we know there's a conceit in comics, and this is a comic movie that, death doesn't last.
Yeah.
Thanks, Superman.
We are going to break this as little as possible to at least make some of the deaths still count.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I like that they stuck with that. And there were definitely characters that I wish were still around.
Oh, yeah.
But, and again, that said, there's a Black Widow movie. We know we're going to get more Black Widow in some way.
Because of what they've done with her, though.
So.
Yeah, and how many more of those can she do? Because she's aging.
Yeah.
She can't keep doing prequels.
And that's a thing, too, is she dies, I'm like, oh, no, Black Widow movie coming soon. It's the same thing of, like, when
what they've done is it's the same thing with what they did with the Star Wars movies. Yeah. You're not worried about Anakin Skywalker at any time because you know he's going to become Darth Vader.
I mean, it was kind of like when it's like, oh, gosh, they're going to kill Tony in the Avengers. And then I'm like, oh, Iron Man 3 was just announced.
Yeah.
Really
just like, I mean, bless them with Black Panther 2, with Spider-Man Far From
Avengers
Home.
Came out to announce it too. It was like a week before.
Mm-hmm. I really wish they had waited. I understand Marvel has been catching flack for years and years and years about not having as many female-led movies and female-directed movies. And
Black Widow has always been one of those chief complaints.
You have this character in the franchise. She's a tentpole character in this Avengers series that doesn't have her own movie. So I understand why they went ahead and announced that this is a thing that's being produced and ScarJo is attached to and all this stuff. But it would have been nice if that would have been a later addition.
It didn't bother me because they've said from the beginning it's going to be a prequel. So it doesn't really matter what happens to her now. Yeah. This is an old story.
Yeah.
Oh no, I sure hope she doesn't get into any danger.
But still,
right. But when you do a prequel, that's the suck.
Yeah.
Well, same thing with Solo. Plus we knew where she would be. I think Solo was still fun.
It wasn't. At no point did you go, oh no, Chewie. I sure hope he doesn't die.
Yeah. Well, and in those
doesn't always have to have life or death stakes.
Well, and I was just about to say, in those situations, if you know the main character is not going to die, this better be a hell of a journey to that end.
Yeah,
it has to be a great adventure.
If I already know the outcome, you better make that journey worth me sitting there 2 hours already knowing what's going to happen.
I mean, we knew we never honestly have felt in the, let's say, the first 3 Indiana Jones movies. Did you ever think he was going to die? No.
He got beat to hell. Though.
Yeah, but you knew
Temple
he
of
wasn't.
Doom. You watch Temple of Doom and you're like, I don't know if he's gonna make it.
Nah, you never thought. But you never thought he was actually going to go, though. But the adventure was why you were there.
Yeah.
You know, so they got to give you a really good adventure, and that Black Widow movie better be really good.
Yeah.
Because 1, we know when and how she dies, and 2, we've already seen a lot of her prequel story in an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Which was, I thought, pretty well done. A lot of people thought it was too dark.
I thought it was fine.
Oh, I thought it was great.
I thought it was fine. I hated
Suddenly
some
I
of the
cared about that
dialogue
character.
that they related to it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought her backstory and the way that they showed it was well done.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, I've seen Red Sparrow.
yeah, right?
But so moving on, like Thanos having a completely different look, not visually, but on life and
Yeah.
how he's doing things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing...
After Infinity War, and then they just, let's just say it, they cut his head right off, and I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap!
I
loved that.
Did
Yeah.
not see that
I
coming.
did
I
not
love,
see that coming.
I
Like,
loved
knew-
Thor. I loved Thor doing it, and
I went
Rocket's
for
like,
the-
"What did you do?"
I
It's like,
went for the head. It was-
Full disclosure, I knew the spoilers of like this person dies, this person dies, this person
Of
dies.
course you did.
But still, there were some shocks like, holy crap!
Yeah. So that brings us to Thor. Can we talk about Thor for a minute?
Yeah.
Because another
Last
reason that my score is
Hey.
dinged a little bit is I think they've turned Thor into a buffoon, and I'm tired of it.
They turned him into a buffoon in Ragnarok. Where have you been?
I know.
Yeah, but he wasn't a buffoon in the last movie. In Infinity War, he
In
had some
Infinity War, he
deep
was a
emotional
badass,
moments.
and he had some beautiful emotional moments. And now they brought the Ragnarok buffoon back in. While some moments were funny, where's my badass Thor? Thor's not the funny one. Tony Stark's the funny one. Thor's supposed to be a badass.
If there is one thing, and I'm asking one thing to cut out from this film, and there's no way you can like defend this, cut out the reference of Fortnite.
yeah.
Please don't date the movie.
yeah.
Because by doing that, you dated the movie.
That's the Shrekism of modern film.
Yeah, but please, if you take that out, that scene, I'm sorry, it gets better 0.1%.
Well,
Yeah.
but you know what though? My thing about that, as I sit here and think of it though, is okay. So we
Don't
watch it
defend
now.
that.
We watch it now, and it's like, oh, okay, Fortnite. It's trendy, pop culture, whatever. You watch it 10 years from now, and you look at it as a modern film.
gonna
It's like
cringe.
they're still playing Fortnite.
Can I admit something?
Yeah,
I didn't know that was Fortnite.
They say it.
they
in the
say
film.
it.
I didn't realize they said the name of the game, which it was just one of those words that I missed. I missed
Right,
them actually
right.
saying the specific name of the game, and I just saw generic game on screen, and the concept of the kid bullying Korg like through voice chat. It's like
Well,
that. I think will.
I mean,
With this
that's
point,
fine.
with
What
this
I'm- what I'm
point,
saying is,
I
as an
have a
example-
question.
just
as an
cut,
example
just
to
cut
point
the
to.
name.
As an
well,
example,
no. For
is
this point, I have a question for you guys. Do you feel the same way in Avengers 1 when they say Galaga?
Galaga is over 30 years old by the time that has already happened. He's playing a classic game. That is
Well, who's
classic
to
at
say-
the time of playing.
Who's
This
to
is a
say,
new and
like,
trendy
40,
game, and
50
we're now
years from now,
promoting it. It's not
Fortnite...
trendy now.
My
I'm
point
just
exactly.
saying.
My point exactly. I think it's
It's one of those things, it's a gamble that they did.
I think I would prefer.
Here's the thing: when you watch John Wick and they're playing some first-person shooter game, the main character, not the main character, but the main target of that scene doesn't go, "Man, stop playing Call of Duty Black Ops and pay attention to me." Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. He goes, stop playing that game and pay attention."
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
They're playing some generic game.
I get it,
That doesn't matter.
but to
by
me-
saying the name, it's like, ah.
I think okay. So,
I think it's not worth being that upset about. I
Yeah.
think that's the point.
overall
it
for
just-
the
it
overall
pulled
for
me
the
out of the scene.
overall for the Thor
And, yeah, I can
storyline,
see how it would
I
do
wish
that,
it
yeah.
wasn't as jokey. I understand. I think it was wise to kind of show Thor kind of sink down, to
Tear
a
him
level.
down, yeah.
Tear
I mean,
down,
he
depressed,
was in
overweight,
depressed
yeah.
and grief
I get that.
and denial.
but
full
it
on.
was. I think it was played jokey way too much. I think.
Yes.
I will say I did
Uh-huh.
appreciate towards the big battle when he went, braided beard and he was still fat. They didn't trim him down,
Yeah,
and I
you didn't get
loved
that.
that.
I
I
really expected him
appreciated
to.
that.
I
I
really
expected them
expected him
to.
to.
I was
Yeah.
kind of surprised and kind of glad.
Here comes
they did
the
that.
abs.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not doing the abs.
And I was happy that they did that because honestly, it shouldn't
'Cause
be
if
that
they
way.
did
There
that,
is
it'd be
no
like, oh,
boom
come
snap.
on.
Yeah.
But he's a god, though. I think it would have been fine if because he's a god.
I think it would have been explained away. I don't think it would have. There would have been a logical disconnect had it happened.
It would have been a campy move.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't happen because it shows this is still part of him.
It would have gone to cliche.
Yeah. I do. So one of my friends at work, he waited to go see it with a group of friends because that was their pact. The girls that they went to go see it with said that they pretty much only watched Avengers because of Thor and how sexy he was.
That's my sister.
When they showed that, my friend just started cackling in the theater, and the girls that he was with were so mad. And I loved it.
Like, they wouldn't jump on that.
Or Tina doesn't care because she got America's ass and it's okay.
True.
Yes, I did.
But that, I feel like, so one of the things I loved about Infinity War was it was dark, but it was
serious, but it knew when to pull back and have a joke.
It was properly done.
It knew when to give that
Comics,
relief.
Comic book dark.
Yeah.
But I felt like because there was so much darkness that
Course corrected.
it felt like they had a course correct in this
they
movie.
needed
there was
light. Yeah,
I think it was an overcorrection.
Yeah.
There was too much
Yeah.
humor in this movie.
Which is generally what I think Thor Ragnarok was to the Thor franchise.
As much as you love America's ass, I could have done without that joke.
Yes.
That's not a joke that Captain America would make. Not
I was fine.
How about this? They stopped the film to have a joke
about his ass.
Rather than during the film there is a joke in it. The film
Yeah.
stops.
Like when-
we're going to have a joke.
when
Let's get back to work.
When Ant-Man and Tony Stark make that comment, it's like, I gotta say, Cap, that too doesn't. That was fine. And
That made sense.
Yeah.
I was fine with that.
Now, when he stopped and he looks, I can see how that could have thrown some people off.
It was
I
too
myself
much.
enjoyed it because it's me.
There are
And
some
you also love that ass.
Yes.
So, but
The
yeah,
ass
and
is
you know,
worthy.
and,
Yes.
and the thing that and also I think there's a little like backhandedness because if someone had said something like, look at Black Widow's ass looking good. What do you think would have happened on the internet?
backlash.
Oh yeah. tons.
Explosive.
Yeah.
So let's just stop it. It's too
And some-
gratuitous for me in a
fan-
comic book
Some fan
movie.
edits have already come out of a bootleg cut where they do cut a lot of the jokes out, and they also cut a lot of stupid stuff out. There's a shot later where it's all the female superheroes. They cut that out. They cut Captain Marvel out.
Look,
They
I
call it
understand-
the cheese-free cut. Because her last name is Brie.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. There's an argument that I'd like to see a fan edit cut to where they cut, like you're saying, that stuff out. However,
Well, if it was a real fan edit, it would probably be 4 hours long.
Yeah. Nico and I made the comment when it was the Girl Brigade. It's like, that was great to see visually, all of them together,
pandery,
but
though.
she didn't need the help.
Yeah, I
She
thought
could have
that-
easily just blasted through without anybody else.
You know what?
It did.
All right,
It did.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Logically, I had it's like that's a really cool scene. Captain Marvel didn't need their help.
Yeah.
She already proved
She's
that she
way
could
too
fly.
OP.
She's too OP.
Yeah.
She didn't need the help.
Now,
but
while she's
it's a
OP,
really cool scene.
Thanos
Yeah.
still messed her
I
up.
love
though.
that though.
Yeah,
He
like,
takes the power. He's like, I can't do anything. Well, how about this, bitch? Takes the power stone and hits her with it. I was like laughing.
That
so
was
hard.
great.
It was,
It was-
yeah, but it
I don't know.
showed
I
that
still
you
love
needed
the whole
gym and the
Thanos
sun.
headbutts her and makes that
nothing happened.
sound.
Yeah.
I loved that part.
So-
To me, it tickled me.
Okay, so I want to get back to the middle of the film.
sorry.
Yeah. We keep jumping.
The
The
meat
real,
of the film.
the real victory lap of the film.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
the one it's like, all right, let's go visit our pasts. And I think they did a really good technical job on that one.
I do too.
And it proved that
Excuse me.
you can take footage from the Avengers and make it in 235. Like I've been saying the whole time.
Of course.
Is that there is no reason for that film to be in 185. It's amazing.
But yeah, no, they took it meshed in with the Avengers movie really well,
Yeah.
with Guardians, with Thor, all these movies, and the
It
people they
legit,
brought
if
back.
you watch it close, there is a nod to every
Yeah,
film.
I had
There's
to explain
something.
the elevator scene to a friend who had never seen Winter Soldier before.
How dare
Oh
you.
man,
Right?
that was
That's okay.
such a good scene though. The whole
It
Cap
is.
is like Hell Hydra, like oh my.
Well,
he
and
just
that
got
Hell
shit
Hydra,
done.
that was for me and you also.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the flip that Captain America did in the comics. It's like,
Also
all
for
three
me.
of us.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you kidding
Like,
me?
I
know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I loved when
We read it.
when
I
that
haven't read it,
happened.
but I know that panel. So
Yeah.
when they do that, I'm like, oh my
Well,
god.
when that happened in the comics,
That's an interview to all the.
So when that happened in the comics too, there was this press shot of Chris Evans at Marvel Studios reading the comic with this like
Like-
thoughtful, like, I don't know, man.
Like,
And the writer,
Nope.
Nick Spencer, is like, oh man, I'm dead.
Yeah.
But no, it was a really good callback to that Hydra Cat
It
line.
was,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
get to see some of those even one-shot characters back in there.
Yeah, like Rumlow and yeah.
Everyone's reaction
really
was
good.
just beautiful.
Robert
Everyone's like,
Redford to come on set for a day for a Robert
Yes.
freaking Redford.
Well,
They got
you know
Renee
that-
Russo to come back on
Well,
set. They got
talking about that, the big one is what's her name?
$356 million, but you can.
Thor's girlfriend.
Natalie
Foster.
Portman.
Natalie
Yeah.
Portman,
Because she had said, "I'm done with this
I
franchise."
thought
'Cause
that was
she-
just a shot from the film.
No, she was there. She
Yeah.
was there.
She was
Yeah,
there.
yeah, because when she stepped away, she was not happy with the franchise because
Yeah.
She had to be in Thor 2: The Dark World.
Well,
I mean,
but it's not
I
even
think this
that.
too.
She just didn't have a role. She's
Yeah,
a
her-
damsel in distress for
Yeah,
everything.
her,
So she was
her
tired
role,
of it.
Her role in it was in 2 was entirely Dan. She at least had some agency in 1, but
Yeah.
but still, she had the good spirit to come back and
do it.
that cameo.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the small cameos that are in that movie just show how much appreciation, even in those cases when I left because I didn't want to be a part of this anymore. I still appreciate the franchise enough, or at least the paycheck enough, to come back and do a small part
Yeah.
in this movie.
I mean, even
Angela
when they go-
Bassett came back for a very small
Yeah.
role.
Yep.
Even when they went back even further to like the 70s,
Yeah,
where
John Flaherty was there,
Yeah.
and Michael
they
Douglas.
did, yeah,
Okay, so this is a thing that I'm just kind of exhausted with, though, and it's not just the Avengers movie specifically. It's a Hollywood trend now where, and we're seeing this like with that horrible looking Gemini movie too. Is
De-aging actors.
instead of trying to find a good actor who's young, let's get all these 50-year-olds and de-age them because it looks so good. No, it doesn't look. Michael Douglas looks awful in that movie in a couple of shots where
That's
they've
the
de-aged
mouse
him.
movement.
That's
Yeah.
also why they didn't really do it straight shots. Mostly.
Yeah.
It's like turn of the side
yeah,
portrait.
Yeah.
And they only had
his-
him for like a couple of moments because he wasn't the focus. It was more of a here's Hank
that
Pym.
one shot.
Yeah, it was here's Hank Pym when he's developing the Pym particles and all that. It's that kind of.
And we
a
got
nod.
that
Not
old
And they-
get that
yeah.
old Ant-Man helmet. And
Yeah.
everything in
And they
there.
did do the reverse later in the movie too.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they
also, I still kind of want to see that Gemini movie.
did. Ugh. Oh,
Dude, it looks
Nah,
bad on
nah.
the screen.
it looks so
It
bad.
looks bad.
I'm actually with them on this one.
It looks really bad.
Still, but back to Avengers. I thought that was okay. They did it a couple parts because they also did the Stan Lee cameo that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a decent cameo. And it's now
It's
the
not
last
his best, but but-
It kind of and not for anybody's fault just pulled me out of the movie for a second
Yeah.
because he's dead.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
and it
very-
just made me think
Yeah.
about it for a second.
well, not
Like,
only
oh.
that, but like they threw in his second most well-known catchphrase, "Nuff said," so that kind of felt like a closing
more,
of that
yeah.
chapter.
So we're just kind of walking through the characters. We did Captain America. We've done Black Widow. So what about? There was let's save one of the better ones for
Okay.
last. There's all this rigmarole when Infinity War came out because Hawkeye didn't have a role,
Okay.
and they brought him back.
I like that opening scene.
And yeah, and we get the little Hawkeye
Oh,
reference
my
in
brother
there.
was mad. He
I didn't-
texted.
I didn't like my
he
audience
loved
during
it.
that scene,
He
but I
loved
liked
it,
that scene.
but he was so mad. He was like, "I can't believe they pulled." I was like, "Bro,
I
I've been
totally-
trying to."
I knew
like,
that was.
for 2 years. I've been trying to tell you that that's how it's.
Yeah.
Even though Infinity War is only a year old, but like
What do you mean?
They were
his
going to
whole
kill off
family.
Hawkeye's family.
Well, but
Yeah.
we knew that.
Yeah,
But we
he-
knew when
well-
they killed him off, we were on the process to bringing him back. I wasn't.
Yeah.
No,
I
no,
wasn't
yeah.
emotionally affected
It
by
was
that.
it was
at all.
the emotional like he's sitting there having a nice family picnic, and it's not just one or two. It's everyone.
I think they do a good
It-
job conveying the
Yeah.
emotional impact.
No,
that,
my
that
brother was
Hawkeye
just
has at the
Yeah,
my
moment.
it
brother
was
was
effective.
just floored that they were like, I can't believe they took his whole family. I was like, I told you
wish I had a
this.
better audience than that because mine was like, oh.
Ours was
during
dead
the snap.
silent.
Oh,
Ours
Had
was
some guy.
dead.
Remember, some guy in the
silent.
back had to explain it to his friend.
I was getting ready to
Yes.
get up.
And then after that,
It-
shut up. But
everybody
we were
shut
still
up.
Just like, damn it, you took me out of this awesome scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, that's one thing about the 4DX experience for people who have not been their first time. What they do is, how they
Everyone in that theater hadn't been.
yeah, including us.
Yeah.
But we didn't react the way everybody else was reacting. Is they do a little thing like a welcome to 4DX, like they do in
Here's a whole
IMAX,
experience.
and they start slinging the chair around and hit you with everything, so you know what's coming.
Yeah.
And
everybody forgets that as soon as the movie starts.
Then the movie starts and everybody's talking about what just happened.
Because they're still reeling from it.
Yeah, it happens too fast.
If I picked you up and carried you out through the house and then set you down, and then you're like, "What the heck was that?" Excuse me, the movie's going on.
Yeah,
it's like you're still coming.
So that was a thing. Yeah, that was a thing.
Okay.
So it took everybody a few minutes to
set. And they show you as bad as it's gonna get too, because the movie was nowhere near as intense as that
was. Yeah. But so.
I will say, I'm glad we had the audience that we had our first viewing.
Oh my god!
Because the second viewing, so the second viewing, we had a woman in our aisle that she made some comments that some of them were annoying, but some of them were
She was
funny.
emoting to the film.
Yeah, it was one of those people, you could tell she wasn't trying to be mean or joker.
Was she talking to the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was talking to, and it was
so
like out of full
you get stabbed
excitement. She was into it. It wasn't like she was purposely.
You still get stabbed.
But
some of it was funny though. It helps that we'd seen it at that point.
Yeah, like I said, our second viewing.
Funny. Yeah, because you had seen it.
But my favorite was, and if we circle back to the end again for one moment.
Yeah, when
the key line that Avengers. I've been waiting for 7 years.
You almost got it.
Yeah.
You almost got it, but waiting for 7 years. Was when Cap did the Avengers Assemble line. It was Avengers, and there's a pre-pause.
Beat his ass!
Assemble.
Yeah.
I just was floored. I was like, oh my god.
But I mean, this is also the same woman who had to leave during
when we get to another integral plot point,
leave
because
during
she was
the second snap
impacted.
because she was having a mental breakdown.
In the throat if you do that during
so
we had in my first screening, it was a good crowd, but there was a girl on the other side of Hector who was literally having a nervous breakdown for about half the movie. I mean, and this gets to something I do want to say about this movie that's not necessarily about the story specifics. I think a lot of people went in wanting to cry. I mean, I think it was overdone.
If you're going back, remember the first reviews, everyone's like, dry eye in the house, except for me when I saw it.
I literally think, that people went in wanting that cathartic release and wanting to do it. Because I felt like people were trying to emotionally react to it.
They wanted almost like a mirror response to the end of Infinity War.
But more of a positive response.
Yeah.
Because Infinity War was very emotionally draining in a downer.
And
I'm
just sick and twisted.
You're like emotionally draining. I'm like, I was hype as hell.
Me too. I came out like
I really liked it. I wasn't ready to run a mile because I was full on popcorn. But no, it's intense. It's the intensity, but it's a downer intensity in a way because it does make you depressed. In terms of a quality film, I really enjoyed it. And I would say Infinity War is still a better movie.
As far as balance and everything,
Infinity War is
clearly the better.
Head and shoulders above this one, I'm sorry.
But
and that happens in the comics too, usually. But I also think the finale is usually the least of it.
Well, I also think Infinity War serves a different purpose. It is the climax. Whereas this movie, as I mentioned earlier, it's the victory lap. It is let's reminisce. Let's bring back everybody.
It's almost similar to like Empire Strikes Back versus Return of the Jedi. That kind of thing.
I think it does it better than Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, but I'm saying like in terms of storytelling, you have the villains seemingly win
at the end of the second act.
Yeah. So whereas the third act is
overcoming odds.
How can the heroes reverse that or come out on top because you know that they're going to?
So the other thing that's different, like specifically different, and one thing that gets major points from me in this film is Infinity War was about everybody. Infinity War was about look at what we have assembled. Look at what we've put together. And while in a lot of ways Endgame feels more epic, it is about the six.
It's about the core foundation.
There could be every character under the sun on screen.
It's
still about the six, the original six.
That happened.
Oh, man.
Yeah, right.
There was one thing I saw that I just cracked up. It was, all the portals opening up and like everybody from everything. And there's underneath that there's a screenshot of the defenders.
Yeah.
Like, okay guys, any moment now the portal's gonna open up. We gotta be ready.
I saw that one too.
I was like, oh,
that would have been amazing. I would have loved it. But still, actually, so here's a good question. The 5-year jump. how do you feel about a 5-year jump? That's a big jump. I didn't expect that far.
I feel like it had a really powerful gut punch in the movie as far as it making the acceptance of the time travel stuff in the rest of the movie easy. It did not. Because like I'm looking at things, and even at the end, when Peter Parker is reunited with his buddy, oh boy, it's a good thing they all went to dust together because somebody would be 5 years older than the other one, and you would be able to see it. So it's these things that all of a sudden, thank goodness for the comic book coincidence, because that 5 years made things complicated.
I was surprised that they stuck with it at the end. It carried through to 5 years. Yeah. Because I actually didn't expect that.
I'm very interested to see how they pull it off.
Because now every Marvel movie has to follow to that 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do have one problem regarding the time travel. Boy, they made it real quick.
What do you mean?
They figured it out.
1, 2, 3. Well, we got time travel. It's like, whoa, that was really fast. And how does this work? And
it is.
I understand it's 3 hours. It's 3 hours. We gotta do this quickly. I'm trying to believe it. Okay, so I'll roll with it. It's
I was okay with that in a way because that's the way comic books work.
I know,
and it's also you had a minimum of 2, sometimes 3 or 4 of the most brilliant minds in the world.
He says,
all
computer do this, and the computer's like, okay, I did it.
So here's the one problem I do.
But I feel like there was some passage of time though. I think there was.
He went home that night and was like,
I didn't think so. I felt like there was days.
Here's the problem I do have with it though. Time travel is too easily available now. Post movie, because they've got all the Pym particles they need because Pym's back, and they have the technology. So
that's why. Here's the thing. This is the last century.
Well,
I understand. But they're making another Spider-Man. There's no other Spider-Man movie.
They can retcon that out though.
Yeah, that's it. But they would have to because right now in the movie they don't have a way to explain how not to keep doing time travel. Yeah. And it's risk-free time travel.
Yeah.
You can go back in time all you want because it doesn't mess with your timeline.
Right.
Thanks, Cap.
Because Back to the Future is crap. We all know this now.
Yeah.
Also
Die Hard.
Paradox.
Oh wait, no.
Also the paradox. Hot Tub Time Machine is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Sebastian Stan is in Hot Tub Time Machine.
Well.
So no one noticed that there was this assassin guy going around in Winter Soldier. It's like, that guy looks like Sebastian Stan.
Well, it's like that TV show on HBO, Barry. He's an actor and a killer. But yeah, that 5-year thing I think is kind of problematic for me as far as complicating things. The time travel availability thing.
Things, but it also adds a somewhat of a level of
it added
permanency.
Drama.
It definitely it added drama and it added impact. It's like it shows more like we brought back everybody, but it wasn't the status quo is reset to normal.
And I'm not so sure that the time travel thing is going to be an issue going forward because I think it can easily be dealt with in a future movie and probably will be.
What are you talking about? This is the end of the film.
Yeah, it is. So did anybody have any other thoughts about Hawkeye? Because it was such a big deal to bring him back. And I'll tell you, I don't, and then that's another problem I have.
He sure doesn't have a problem murdering people.
And I like that, actually.
I like that.
I was fine.
He's a character.
I didn't have a problem with Hawkeye in the movie. I thought it was okay.
It was okay. It was fine. It wasn't special.
But I was actually appreciative of the Ronin twist that they did. Like,
yeah. I mean, we all knew that was coming.
Ronin, Ronan.
The comic people.
Yeah.
But no. It's. I didn't have a problem. He's always been like, of the original 6. The 6th Avenger.
Yeah. Right.
It's sad to say, and I like Jeremy Renner, but...
Didn't you only have 11 arrows? Yeah, and I killed 11. You're welcome.
But yeah, I mean, Hawkeye was Hawkeye. That's it. He was there for the emotional impact in the beginning that worked.
And they did a good job of giving him a little something to do at the end. Although the color timing went wonky on Zach and I during the movie.
Did you have to see it in 3D or 2D?
2D.
So the 3D went super red.
That might be.
It was only red like in the right eye though.
Did it happen in your second showing? Because you saw it twice.
Yeah, that's in the 4DX.
He's down in the collapsed building with the red tunnel and the dog thing.
It was weird.
Sure.
Yeah, it was weird.
I loved his reaction when he's like, he's clutching the gauntlet. He just ran from the dogs and he sees Nebula and he's like, "Oh, I know you."
So
and he's like, "Go take it." And then it's like, "Father," and he's like, "Uh-oh."
I thought the time travel did work pretty well in fixing the Nebula thing.
Yeah.
And how she is going to not Nebula, get Gamora. Sorry, the
I knew
Gamora
what you
thing,
meant,
and how to bring her back and to keep her in the franchise.
Yeah.
And it gave them something to do interesting in the next Guardians.
Yeah, because they're
And-
not going to be all lovey-dovey.
Yeah, like I know Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I know quite a few friends like they were like, man, the whole Peter Quill and Gamora thing, that's just so cliche. Blah, blah,
But the
blah.
problem is now, my only fear is, are we going to have to watch them fall in love again?
I don't
No,
think
they're
so.
going to be enemies.
That'd be great.
Well, that or like maybe
Well, I mean,
with
this would be
Dark
your fan
Phoenix.
fiction because this is the end of the film, but they would be enemies.
So since we're going
Well,
back on
good to know.
since,
Well, here's my theory on that is
Such a wise
maybe
ass.
they'll bring in Star Kitty now.
oh maybe. So since we're going around,
Don't
I mean X-Men. So
Real
yeah.
question.
So
Yeah, because I want to derail your thing. Nebula, were we supposed to believe she was like, oh no, she's the original one coming back?
no,
Because I immediately knew.
I think we all knew
Did
that.
the
Yeah.
film mean to say? Like,
No, I think the film
I think
did
the
not
film-
mean to hide that at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I
No.
think the film
No, not
meant
at
for,
all.
That was what
It's
meant
called,
for us.
it's a little they call dramatic irony.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was just asking because if you said yes, the film was meant to say like, oh no, she is a, it's surprise, it isn't the real one. I'd be like, wow.
No,
No,
I think we
no.
were supposed to know
We knew.
because
Yeah.
we're waiting for her to turn
me,
on them.
As soon
Yeah.
as she got captured, I'm like, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
absolutely.
waiting.
As soon as as soon as still evil Gamora has that glitch, I'm like, yep, okay.
So
Sorry, back to you.
okay, well, since we were trying to cover all the
So that-
original,
The six.
since we're trying to cover all the original 6, I'm trying to circle back before we get to the last one. I know we're gonna hit.
Yeah.
So Hulk.
Hulk.
I
They did a really
am
good motion
not-
capture at this phase.
I'm not
They
sure
did.
I'm a fan.
I'm not a fan of Professor
Yeah.
Hulk. I'm never a fan of Smart Hulk.
I wasn't a fan of Smart
Yeah.
Hulk in the comics either.
Yeah.
Plus, with how they introduced him, being and again, dating, dating
that-
and him talking to the kids like, and, oh come on, Ant-Man, don't you want? It's like cut that.
Yeah,
I-
and Ant-Man's like,
out.
take
Yeah,
the damn
I could leave
phone.
that
I'm
scene.
good.
That entire bit
Yeah.
I could leave.
Yeah.
The reason why is because that ruins Hulk as an interesting character to
Yes.
follow. He's fixed.
Yes.
The whole time, and honestly, Hulk is. Banner's more interesting when he
Yeah,
does
but-
not want to be Hulk.
Yeah,
Yes.
And Hulk is
That's
more
my
interesting when
secret,
he's just
Cap. I'm always
a
angry.
dumb barbarian.
Here's your alternative.
Yeah.
Oh man, hopefully now for the 67 millionth time, I found a cure to it. It's like that will get old.
That does
so
get old.
quick.
When I like it when he.
It's like let's just get rid of that.
well,
It's fixed.
well, that's why I like.
now we have a new dynamic character.
That's why I like him in Avengers. He's not trying to cure himself.
Yeah.
Never the goal is trying to cure himself.
dealt with it.
He's dealt with it.
Yeah.
He's processing. He knows kind of generally how to handle it.
Yeah,
himself.
like when
it's just
when
he's an
Tony's
exceptional.
prodding him and poking at him,
Yeah.
antagonizing him.
Okay, well here's the problem.
Yeah.
We've seen our main villain take Hulk out at his prime. So how do you make it interesting when Hulk goes back to main villain?
They don't take him back to
Yeah.
main villain. That's
Yeah,
that's this
absolutely.
movie's solution. Is they don't take him back.
Or
ever.
they don't take him back by himself.
Yeah,
I like the idea
He was
of.
with other people.
Well, I like the
Nah,
idea.
he just
I
got
like
slung
the
around.
idea
No,
that they gave
Banner-
for the gauntlet,
I
where it's
liked-
it admits
If
the.
that
Hulk
was-
went up against Thanos again and he won, I'd be like, oh, okay, BS.
Well,
That
I wouldn't
wouldn't
want him
happen.
to go against him
No.
by himself. It would go.
He
It
would
would
be
be the
against a
Avengers.
massive
It would-
army.
It should have. I would have loved the 3 against Thor or
Thanos.
to be the 4 against Thanos. That's what I would have liked. I understand why
Yeah.
they did it the way they did it, but still, I also like that they kind of attempted the. It's always a classic thing where you have Hulk basically holding up a mountain or an
Yeah,
entire
yeah,
massive
absolutely.
structure or something.
So my
and I
love,
wanted a bit more out of that.
My love of that shot though is it's such a. I mean, and if you look at the way the shot is framed and look at the cover, it is such a callback to Secret Wars.
Yeah, no,
It
exactly.
is.
That's such
Yeah.
a cool shot.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It looks like the
they
freaking
don't-
cover of that
They don't
comic.
really. I feel like that should have been more.
It should have been
thing.
more.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
should have been. It should have been a more key focus.
Yeah,
of
it
that-
should have been more
that
like
bit.
Hulk struggling and then getting it, but his
Yeah.
arms are already ruined
like
because
in
of the gauntlet.
Spider-Man. Like in Spider-Man when Peter Parker
Because
is like,
Spider-Man has the same
yeah.
kind of iconic shot in the comics, and they
Yes.
gave it to him in the movie,
Yes.
and it worked.
Yes.
Mostly. Yeah.
I still like it
So I don't even. I would go a step further with Hulk. Is I like. I mean, you guys are saying you like the Hulk where Banner is kind of understanding and controlling it and dealing with it. I like the one where he basically hates it and has to fight against it and it's ruined who he is and ruined his life. That's the Hulk story that I like.
I like that too. I He doesn't
I like
have
them
to look
as
for a cure.
separate.
You don't have to necessarily have him looking for a cure the whole time.
Yeah.
He can hate it. He can hate this mentality, but understand it's a part of him.
Yeah, I
But
don't
not-
care about the cure.
I
But
hate
not-
the combo.
Yeah, not that it's the same person. I
Yeah.
don't like when it's fixed. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And they've learned
Because
it
to
over
me,
and
it
over
falls
again.
flat.
They fix it, then they have to unfix it because he's not interesting in when he's
Yeah.
because he becomes more than Superman at some point
Yeah. No
because
one's
he's
gonna wanna-
OP plus he's smart. Superman at least was dumb.
After the first Avengers movie, it's like, oh man, this Mark Ruffalo Hulk is amazing. I want a new movie of him. I want more of this. I want more of this.
No,
I don't want
Nothing.
more of this one.
I wanted
Well,
more
here's the
of the
thing is-
previous.
More World Breaker Hulk and freaking Thor Ragnarok. That if you had like more of just Hulk being a gladiator, awesome warrior, like in
That
actual-
okay, all right, yeah.
that would have been cool.
That would've
But
been
I
Here's
don't
the
want
problem
more of
is
this
we
one.
solved his problem. That's the end of his arc because this is the end of the movie series. That's what this is like. You're like, arg. It's like if you look at it like this, it's not a problem anymore.
If
Because
now
that's
if Mark
totally
Ruffalo
the
is not
world.
coming back and they're not bringing back the Hulk, well then
that's fine.
Then
Yeah.
he goes off happily ever after and fine or whatever.
Yeah.
But
But he lives and he's in a superhero movie. You don't get happily ever after that.
Yeah.
point.
exactly.
Well, that
I
and
mean,
like
he doesn't have Natasha. So.
I feel like
True.
some of the things that they were building on, like his relationship with Natasha, when she dies, he throws a bench. That's
That
it.
goes more to the whole Natasha got thrown to the wayside.
Yeah,
Her death.
or even when they go back in time and like he sees separate Hulk smashing everything, and they're like, oh well, gotta
liked-
make it.
I liked the scene of
And-
Hulk going down the stairs and opening a door more than the rest of him in the movie.
Yes. Oh, Hulk
so
hates
many
stairs.
stairs.
That was the best Hulk we had the entire
The
Yeah.
only time Smart Hulk worked for me, the only time it worked was when they went back in time and he had to pretend to smash things. That was kind of humorous and kind of
That was
funny.
kind of funny.
It was funny, but I
I
don't
like
know.
when
It
Smart
just
Hulk is like a temporary thing. When there's something that's like when the cure comes with a cost. When it's like you could be cured, but you lose something or something, and then you have to choose. To
he
I
got
have
the
to give it
best
up.
of both worlds.
It's like in Secret Wars when at the end of Secret Wars, Ben Grimm gets a cure and doesn't have to be the Thing anymore, but at some point he has to be the Thing again.
Yeah.
like that's how you make that cure interesting.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now I think
I would
that's-
rather have just simply seen Mark Ruffalo as Banner.
Banner,
Yeah,
Being smart.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, Tony.
So we have Iron Man left.
Here we got Iron Man.
Yep.
Okay, so Iron Man's arc,
It's completely over.
and also if anybody had a perfect story arc,
It
it's
was
Iron
Tony.
Man.
Yeah.
It was complete
Beat
and utter
for
Tony.
beat. I loved everything that happened with him from Avengers forward. His solo movies, but what happens in Avengers forward all comes together in this movie.
Yeah.
And I felt some redemption for myself in this movie, weirdly enough, because of what happened with him. Because when we all went to Civil War, I felt like I was the only one on Team Iron Man. Everybody's all Team Cap. He, Mr. Gung Ho, Mr. We'll do this our way, blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, the comment of what would you do if you had a thermonuclear missile in every state, which is the Hulk. What would you do? That was his comment, and I'm like, no one's listening, and that is the smartest thing he said. And he got his redemption in this movie. He got to get in Captain America's face and tell him, I told you so.
Yeah.
You didn't freaking listen to me, and this is what you get.
Even going back to Avengers 2, it's like, I told you so. I
Yeah.
wanted to build this thing.
I wanted to build a suit of
Mm-hmm.
armor around the world.
It
You
made me
guys
so
said
happy, and it said
was
so
more.
much about it. It took away a little bit of perfection, and we'll get to him in a minute in
Cap?
more detail. But it took some perfection from Cap, which I liked because Cap never apologized for it.
Yeah.
He got in his face and said, "You were wrong," and all Cap would basically do is say, "Well, I guess we have to move forward from here."
Yeah.
He wouldn't own his mistakes, and I'm like, okay.
And that's one of the things
I think
that
at that point, though, it was also like, I understand that, but we have to move forward from here. Because it
Well,
doesn't...
Right.
So
but
here's
I
one
just
of the
felt
things-
redemption because I'm like, I knew what he was saying. I remember his PTSD from being shot into freaking space in
Yeah.
the Avengers, and everybody forgot that. In
Here's
Civil
one of the
War.
things
it
that
was just so
I-
much fun,
I
I guess, to jump
argue-
on Team Cap.
Yeah.
And be part of his side. And I'm like,
Here's one of the things that I argue with like people who say Captain America is perfect. He's not perfect. He's not supposed to be perfect.
yeah.
And yes, he has flaws. And
He's stubborn. That's
he's
definitely
stubborn.
a flaw.
So stubborn meaning stubborn. Tony meaning Steve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be times where Tony's right and Steve won't admit it. There's going to be times where Steve's right and Tony won't admit it. And it's a flaw that they both share. So it's one of those things when they see that they're right, like they go in for the kill.
So and I guess what bothers me a little bit is, I mean, you can see Captain America is one of my favorites. I've got him right there on the wall. But in the film franchises, we see Tony Stark constantly have to pay for what he's done.
Yeah.
In his own movies. Captain America has been Mr. All-American, Mr. Perfect the whole time. And I felt like, I remember on this podcast, I'm like, I'm the only one that's on Iron Man's side.
You know what? Like, I feel like they also kind of did that in the first Avengers.
Yeah.
Tony was totally right in the first Avengers.
Yes,
Distrusting
absolutely.
S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything.
Yeah.
And Cap was like, you're not a team player and all that stuff. And Cap gets in his face. And
You're not the kind of guy to lay down on a wire to let the other. It's like, at this point, I'd cut that wire.
Yet Captain America, or yet Tony Stark has laid down on that wire as much as anyone.
Yeah.
He threw a nuclear missile through a wormhole and with him along with it. And to Civil War's credit, the movie does a way better job. It's one of the few times that I can actually think of that I like the movie better than the comic because
Oh God, yeah.
the whole
better.
premise is much more better nuanced, and the arguments on both sides are a little bit better explained and a little bit more fleshed out to the pros and cons. So it's more well balanced, and Tony makes way more sense in the movie, and I understand why Tony, and I could logically be on Tony's side.
Yeah.
I just will always be on Cap's side.
I'll admit the reason I'm on Cap's side is because it's Cap.
Well, because
I can't blindly follow Cap because I love him. I have to question him.
Well, the other thing though too is because we know it's his movie and we know we're in his point of view.
Yeah.
He's the point of view character, so we know he's right in this case. But in a larger scope, not in this isolated incident about chasing down the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Tony is kind of right.
Well, I mean, they both have right and wrong points. I mean, Steve's point on the whole, if the people who are telling us what to do get corrupt, like his experience with S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra, yes, that's going to get very messy very quickly.
And that actually almost kind of hurt me a little bit with War Machine in Infinity War. How he's like, I paid the price. I think this was a wrong idea. And it's like, I don't think
you need to stand up and...
Yeah,
that is so true.
I'm like,
Sir.
Hey, listen.
Okay, I'm running out of breath.
So with him, that was a sort of
It
was cathartic for me because
if you've ever seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it felt like that scene where Captain Holt just goes, vindication. That's what it felt like for Tony.
And then you also not only is he vindicated in his belief in all of his previous movies, you also get a happy ending for him because you get him actually married to Pepper, and you get
with
child.
a beautiful daughter who's adorable and ridiculous. Oh my God.
And you get him to also, it's like, I figured out the solve. I'm going to help.
That talk with Pepper was, to me, one of my favorite scenes where he's like, I could just do nothing and let us live our life. And she goes, yeah, but
making you give up something has been the greatest failure of my life.
And that is one of the reasons. I mean, that is one of the times when you can see that Robert Downey Jr. is legit probably the best dramatic actor in the Marvel franchise. Period. Yeah. No one can pull off real punch in the gut drama like that actor, and that is probably their biggest loss right there with him. Are we boring you, sir?
No.
Then what would you say? Would you like to share with the class?
Well, all right, sucker. So let's continue. So it was very emotionally impactful, and then when he comes back, and you get kind of that whole olive branch. With
the reconciliation of
was still very good. That was very
and then
emotional.
You have their bonding.
You have them going back.
Yeah.
I love the scene where you get him getting closure with his father. John Slattery, I thought was really good.
It was great. And that would normally, in my mind, be one of the places I'd like to trim.
It'd be one of the campy bits,
but it worked so well. I just didn't want to touch it.
And then
when they go back to Thanos, with Thanos being like, you couldn't deal with your own failure, and look where it's led you to me. And Tony Stark's like, I'm not going to let this end this way.
Yeah.
And I love
that full-on stubborn Tony Stark, like I was about to say season 1. Movie 1 stubbornness. You see it rear its head, and you're like, there we go.
And I like that.
There's the Iron Man that's gonna win it.
I like the realization he has in his eyes when he was talking to Strange earlier. It's like, how does this end? It's like, I can't tell you, otherwise you won't do it.
It won't do it. Yeah.
And then when he gets the realization at
He
the
knew.
end, when it's like,
when Strange.
when this
took up-
happened, he knew, but
Yeah.
he couldn't tell him beforehand because
Yeah.
now he was at a point where he couldn't do anything else. He
Yeah.
had to make the sacrifice
yeah.
play. He had to lay down the line.
Which, if Strange had told him, well, at the end of this, you're gonna die, Tony Stark would have spent that entire battle
outsmarting it. He'd be
Yeah.
thinking ways to get around it. He had to
He'd be
at that
thinking,
spot
how
where
can
he-
I spend the rest of my life with my daughter instead of dying
Yeah,
here?
and now he was at the moment. And then when he did it, when he outsmarted Thanos, when he did the sleight of hand trick, and Thanos did the I am inevitable, and then that perfect line to end Tony's character with.
Does anyone know how that line came to be?
Yeah, the editor, I think.
Yeah,
It was-
they had him just sit there and then snap, and then they're like, this is unsatisfactory. Mm-hmm. And the editor was like, why don't you just say, I am Iron Man? They went,
because
get the cameras!
at that point Thanos says the I am inevitable, so they needed a line to play off
Counteract.
of
Yeah, and
that.
I don't understand why they didn't. It's just such a perfect way to end his character because it's
So
just a
good.
bookend.
And
Yeah.
And they bookended him twice beautifully.
Yes.
it's the last line he in his first movie, and it's the last line in his last movie.
And the subtle things is, so when we get to his funeral,
Well, before we touch on that, I also want to point out the almost complete reversal of scenes from Infinity War with Tony Stark holding Peter Parker as he's essentially dying. And now it is Peter Parker who is holding Tony Stark as he is dying.
Wasn't it Pepper?
Well, yeah, but
Pepper
like for
shows
the
up
most
then.
part,
Pepper shows up for the
shows
end.
up pretty much when he's
Peter's
done.
there, Pepper's there.
Yeah, it's basically
if I'm
that
wrong,
trailer.
well, actually, that's not true because I wasn't
By that
emotionally
point,
gripped
yeah.
by that scene until Pepper showed up.
Yeah.
When Pepper showed up,
I don't know.
and
Tom
basically
Holland
give
had me bawling.
when Pepper comes on, and again,
because that's
another,
when you know it's final, because
Yeah.
it's the final goodbye.
and,
Yeah.
and she's another one of those really great dramatic actresses,
Yeah.
and she gives him permission to go. That's when that's when the real gut
Yeah.
punch of that
It
scene
just-
happens.
it
Even though you
hurts.
know he's going.
And
It
you know
hurts
because
because
she keeps it
Spider-Man
together.
doesn't
She's
feel
able to keep
that
it together
time going,
until the
so,
lights off, and
yeah.
then she breaks down.
Well, I think that's the case because she knew it was coming.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
and I know, but it's the point. It's such a good performance because
Yeah.
the character, the person. I mean, in that like Pepper is like, I need to keep a strong face for Tony so that he can go without
you know,
seeing me breaking down.
With her character, I imagine it like you ever have a family member that's had cancer for a long time, and their time's coming, so you've resided in your mind a long time ago that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But when
I
it
feel
does
like
happen,
it still has
doesn't
impact,
happen.
but you're a little more mentally prepared for it because you've been waiting.
Well, I think
Kind
it's
of.
more so you're prepared for it in the moment, and then once it has happened, then
Then
you
it
get
sinks
break
in.
down.
Yeah.
You
But that's
brace
exactly
yourself.
what I feel like she was in that position because once they had that talk that you love on the sofa,
Yeah.
she's like, I know there's only one
Which,
way it ends
To me,
for him.
that helps soften the blow of Pepper and Tony goodbye. Whereas with the Tom Holland one, he just came out of being he had no clue the passage of time or how this was going to end. He didn't have
Like-
that heart to heart.
Like, I
with
love
Tony.
that hug that Tony gave him when he
Yeah.
came back. It's like,
He's like, oh,
Mr. Stark,
oh, this is
the
nice.
wizard said I was gone for 5 years and all this stuff, and we just appeared because this just happened like
Yeah.
5 seconds ago.
But that kid, part of it's because that kid is like he is Spider-Man.
he is so.
Oh
He
my
is-
God, he
I
is
do
fantastic. He
have
was
a
Spider-Man.
legitimate question that this isn't a criticism, just me asking. How did it kill him?
How did what kill him?
Him snapping.
the
amount-
It's
power
been
of-
said that only a few people actually could do it.
The
Remember
amount
what happened to
of
Star Lord
gamma
and he's half
radiation
human?
created such a blast that it basically
And that was one stone.
destroyed.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but
basically,
I thought the suit would have protected him.
It did
No,
too.
well, it
The only
did
thing
to-
it kept him from doing was probably disintegrating. It
Yeah.
didn't
yeah,
protect
because
him.
look at what it did to Hulk's arm. Look at what it did to Thanos' arm when he did it.
Yeah.
And,
Thanos is fine.
no, Thanos is all
No, when
scarred
he-
up on his
Oh.
arm.
Yeah, when he
And-
snapped to destroy the stones, how it was like all up here. Yeah.
And as much
Well, even when he
technology,
snapped in Infinity War,
Yeah,
it was
it was-
also
yeah.
all scarred up on his arm too.
Yeah.
so I mean, as much technology as Tony Stark could
He's a human.
create,
Yeah.
he's still got to take
Yeah.
it. It's like
He's
a
not a
radiation
Titan,
suit.
he's
it
not a
slows it, but
gamma
it doesn't
suit.
end it.
That's why they had the discussion
Yeah.
in there. It's like the Hulk is like,
it has
I am
to be
the only
me
one who
because
could
I'm the only one who
probably
can.
survive it.
Yeah, I'm the only one who can soak up that much gamma radiation and survive. I mean, even
I want to
Thor.
say, I want to
The
say
only reason I say
Infinity
is
War
'cause
Thor probably could.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
only reason I say is because of the suit. I was like, if they pulled off the suit, would he be fine? Is
No.
that slowly?
No,
Or-
it-
How does
yeah.
this work?
I mean, you're talking about something that's in this world
It's like
that
a
they
mini-
built. It's like a mini sun. It's like the
Yeah, it's
cosmic.
like a mini
it's like the
nuke
power.
going off in your hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
and
Thor
you're
would
basically
be
hol-
fine.
Thor could probably do it.
Probably.
Thor could do it. I think the main reason that Thor couldn't do it is not physical. It was mental.
Yeah.
He didn't have the stamina mentally
He-
to handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Thor at that
No, I'm
point,
saying
I think Thor was okay
hypothetically-
with
That's why I
either
said
him
Infinity
dying
War
or him
Thor, I think,
leaving.
could.
Yeah.
But no, and I think he still would be really fucked up, screwed up if he did it.
Ah,
I screwed it. I
Lost
blew
me.
it. I blew it.
All those children out there now.
We made it this far.
But no, it's like, especially going back to Thor. Thor was okay either living or dying. He didn't care at that point.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else had something they wanted to live for. Tony most of all, because he had a young girl. He was finally happy with Pepper. If people didn't get snapped back, he still would have lived a good life.
I don't think so. I think Tony was trying to put that facade forward.
Yeah.
But I think his character and who he is forced him to make the decisions and end the way that he ended.
Yeah.
And I think he knew it, and so did Pepper knew it. And it's the only way. That's the only way his character could have ended.
I think, yeah,
Is
because
to go down like
He
that.
couldn't retire.
No.
Right.
You couldn't have the Marvel
Because he
cinematic-
wouldn't
I mean,
stop.
heck,
He would be
he
like old
still
man
was
Batman.
Well,
building suits
that's
for
also
Pepper.
that's also why you kind of had to in Captain America similarly killed or aged.
Yeah, to the
because
point of
you
not
basically
being
have
able
to
to
take them to a point where they cannot do what they do.
So I have thoughts on that.
All
But
right, so
let's-
now-
but wait, let's get to the funeral part.
Yeah.
Because the funeral scene is one of those things where you look at the Russo brothers and Marvel in general at their level of detail. I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer was in that scene.
The kid
Who
from
played
Iron
Harley.
Man 3 was in that scene.
And this is the thing that's most interesting.
Nico
'cause
didn't realize
so
that at
many
first.
people were asking, "Who is that kid?"
I knew immediately, like as soon as it passed, like Peter, and you see like this random teenager. I'm like, it's Harley.
And well, there a lot of
'Cause they're
people didn't.
connected.
A lot of people
I
know.
didn't know.
A lot of people didn't see Iron Man 3 also. So
That's okay. They didn't have to.
But still, it's the attention to detail. It's so many
Yes.
people here.
And I
Yes.
honestly, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I hate reboots, whatever." Well, I feel like I don't know if it'll be that actor, but that character could end up being the next Iron Man. I just have this because if you remember the end of the third movie, he filled his garage with Stark
That's
tech
true.
because the kid was brilliant.
If they go that route, I think it's possible. They have
Yeah.
a way to explain it in the universe. I don't think they're going to do that.
I
they
mean,
do it
honestly,
anytime soon.
if they find somebody to replace Iron Man, I'd rather them bring in either Riri Hart or they bring in his daughter, like an aged up. Because Cassie, Ant
She's
Man's
too
daughter.
young. We'll have to wait 15
Well,
years.
but
Yeah,
still,
but it's a good setup for the Young Avengers.
Guys, what are you talking about? This is the final film.
anyway, but
I actually don't
okay,
like
that's-
the Young
that's-
Avengers.
All right. So
but the
movie.
finality of it, though,
the
is-
funeral was very touching. Like,
Yeah.
Beautiful. It was beautiful.
it was very beautiful. The only real criticism that we mentioned earlier was that where's Black Widow's funeral?
Right?
It's the bench being thrown. That's it.
Yeah,
Right?
That's all she gets.
Nobody cares.
All right, so
They get talked about.
They
Both
didn't-
of them get talked
They
about.
didn't
at the
even go
end.
back for her body.
yeah,
Like that to me was something that kind of pulled me out.
Well, I think.
I don't know if the body
I think
the
it's
body's there for a moment, but I think like after like the
When he wakes from
transformation-
the in the water, I think the body's done.
yeah,
I think that's gone.
I think that I think Red Skull is like cleaning crew gets rid of the body.
Right.
Although,
Okay,
But the,
Yeah.
the thing that I wanted to mention though is when we're talking about throwbacks to the earlier movies, that scene with Foggy and his or not Foggy,
John
John Favreau's character, Happy,
and,
with the daughter.
although he
With
was
the
Foggy
cheeseburger.
in the other one.
Right. But he when she said she wanted cheeseburgers,
That was a
it
great
seems
call.
like such a
That's great.
throwaway line, but it really.
But everyone who saw
when-
Iron Man 1,
yeah,
it's like,
like
oh,
when
No,
Tony got back from being captive, the first thing he wanted was a cheeseburger, an American cheeseburger.
Mhm.
It's one of those things because you and I joked for like 2 weeks about the Burger King placement.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
Are you having fun, Zach?
so okay, let's get back to Cap then. We got Tony's ending.
Yeah,
Let's go
so
to
we're talking
Cap's
about
ending.
Cap's ending.
Cap's ending being
One
where
more thing
he-
about Tony's ending, though. That projection farewell, I think, was very well done.
Okay, yeah, that was
The projection where he says "Lucky 3000."
Yeah. Oh yeah, I thought it was well done and it was nice, but it was unnecessary.
Yeah,
I disagree. I think it was needed because it was a concrete kind of farewell for.
He didn't get a chance to say goodbye.
I don't think it was.
I think that's Tony Stark. I think that's him saying goodbye to the franchise.
Yeah, I think it was him saying goodbye to us, the viewers.
But no, I agree. I think his real goodbye is I Am Iron Man.
I think that's that for me. That's his goodbye because that's the bookend of where we started. But I mean, it was well done.
All right.
It was well done.
So Cap's ending when he returns all the Infinity Gems.
Well, wait. Let's talk about Cap's arc though. His story arc from basically you think about him from the first Avenger all the way to here. We were talking about the time travel things. I feel like, in Avengers, we get Agent Carter. He finds her, and we have to go through her passing away and all that stuff. So to get those time travel moments where she's there again are pretty powerful.
Yeah, I loved it. Like Peggy
watching her through the blinds.
Her coming back was a really good cameo.
I have questions about his ending though, because I know you love it. I
love it, but I also have questions.
So I think when you start to think about who Captain America is as a character, I can do this all day. He's not the guy who's just going to stop defending his country, but yet he did. And to me, I have questions about that as in a story arc. Is that really how he would he really just stop? So even if he went back in time to be with her, would he have just stopped?
Did he pork his own niece?
Okay, so
they never had sex.
No,
in the cinematic universe.
Stop. All right. Let's stop that. All right, so here's.
I mean, Game of Thrones.
All right, so if you delve too much into the time travel, it's basically like what alternate universes does this bring up? Yeah. You have a Cap now, basically shows up probably in the late 40s, early 50s, whenever he shows back up, and what does this universe now have in terms of...
So you're saying he could have went back and continued to be Captain America in that era?
Or he could have done that, or...
Because if he did, wouldn't the people standing there remember it?
No, because...
It would have created a new timeline, like the Ancient One was saying... If you take this stone from this timeline, my timeline is screwed. Yours will be fine. Yeah. Mine's screwed because...
We need... Yeah, that's why he had to go back.
Well, if you're telling me
change the timeline.
That he chooses to go back to be with her and continues to be Captain America, I can buy it a little better. Because I just don't see Captain America... Not my Captain America wouldn't stop fighting till he was dead.
Yeah. So we don't know what kind of timeline this entire history has. He goes back into, like I said, late 40s, early 50s. Hydra's cleared out of S.H.I.E.L.D. immediately.
Yeah. Not only that, but especially with the trailer of Far From Home, they're introducing the multiverse. So it's very possible that that's going to be explained.
But I don't know if that aspect's going to be, but possibly. But yeah, it's like everything gets cleaned up. Everything that Cap knows is a problem from all of everything that he missed that he caught on.
Howard Stark and Maria, wouldn't have died.
Yeah, they're alive. Tony gets a nice family life and is a well-adjusted
Bucky
adult.
would not be held captive.
Bucky gets found and saved super quickly.
There's a lot
so
of
we're
stuff.
saying that this is his reality?
Yeah, when
the twins wouldn't have been created because there would be no Hydra to do...
That's
true. Yeah, but when we see old Captain America, they don't give you an indication that that's the life he's led.
Yeah, but there's no indication it's not. When Loki comes into Avengers, they're already ready for everything.
Yeah,
so
but didn't we just have this discussion about you have to show it or it wasn't done right?
Yeah, but there's no reason to... I don't think you have to show that because there's no reason to assume he doesn't make a better life for himself.
Yeah,
because
especially with the death of Tony.
And not only
they had a complicated relationship, so watching Tony die to save... everybody else in their entire timeline.
And technically in their timeline...
It had to have an effect.
Their timeline, there's probably actually two Captain Americas.
Yeah.
Because he goes back at some point, but Cap is still frozen at some point. So there's two Captain Americas. He may have unthawed one. Remember, the shield gets broken in this movie, but he comes back with an intact one. He has to go back in time to get that shield. He got it somewhere.
So when you just brought up the broken shield part, I actually pointed this out to Zach. is if you look, when you start talking about levels of detail, if you look at how his shield is broken
In Age of Ultron.
and you look at the scene, the way that whole scene is shot, it's almost like it could have been pulled from Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
There's a reason they put the level of detail in Age of Ultron in Tony's vision.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason they knew from the get-go,
Well,
I believe.
I also
how
think the
they were gonna
Russos,
do this.
the production team went back and looked at this. Like,
Yeah.
how is the shield broken in this scene?
Yeah,
We
like they
can
knew
redo
what
it.
they were gonna do.
So
I want to
I less think it
subscribe.
was I don't think it was much pre-planning as I think it was going back and double checking.
Yeah. So I want to subscribe to you guys' reality for Captain America, because the scene where we see him again as Old Man Cap is a beautiful scene and a really great
and a
ending to the
great
character.
setup
Basically, all
for
that's-
the new Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Essentially,
What do you think?
all that
It's over.
scene is supposed to imply.
Oh, we know this is happening. We know this TV
All
show.
this scene is supposed to imply is that Cap had his best ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can imagine whatever his best ending is. We just know he had his best ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how he's able to retire. He grew old.
Well, and then after that, what I do love, completely unabashedly, is the shot of the two of them dancing, and you get the original music
Yeah.
from
Yes.
the first Avenger.
Yes.
Because the first Avenger, that's the first Avenger. So if the last thing we're going to see in an Avengers movie as we know it is calling back to that and to that music and to that time, that's
You know what I
Because
want
he's
though?
not the first Avenger anymore. He's now the second Avenger.
No, he's always
He's still the
first.
first.
You know-
He's
He's
always the
connected.
first. Yeah.
So
You know what I want though? I want a Marvel short that shows him going to Vormir
And returning
and
the
seeing
stone?
the Red Skull.
So-
I need that in my
all right,
life.
so we need to talk about the biggest, most important moment of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and that is when Cap lifts the hammer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is really funny because I was so energized by that shot.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know what is really funny and it's not fair, but this is just me. I own that shot as a comic book fan, as
Yeah.
somebody who's
Yes.
seen that a
It's
few
a moment of
times in
pride
his
for people
life.
who have that,
Yeah,
yeah.
And then when I hear people who are obviously just people who like the movie, I'm like, you need to shut up.
Yeah.
You need to show your
Yeah.
respect right
Yeah.
now, because that right there is 30 years
and-
of weight.
I
and
had
that
somebody
bit of
at work
Thor-
say that scene was bullcrap, and I'm like, excuse
And
me,
you have,
sir.
you have Thor justifying him because Thor the goes like, I knew it.
Right?
I called it. I knew he
his
could do it.
reaction is so great because then he calls back to Age of Ultron
Yeah.
where he
Yeah.
moved it just a
And
little.
Thor was freaking out. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, he can do it.
I still
Yeah.
maintain that Cap was like, I'm not going to do this to Thor.
All right, all right.
And
I'll get into that in a moment.
one of
Let
the
me finish the
few
movie.
one of the few funny little pieces that I liked was when Thor called the hammer and he's like, still worthy.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I love the bit too about how,
Which means you can have depression and still be worthy.
and every Avengers movie, Cap and Thor have that moment where they're
Yes.
fighting side by side, and there's a pause in kind of the action where they get to have a little moment.
Yeah.
And I love that this happens. It's like, give me the big one. You have to get the small one.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. And this was one of the things that they had to, even if Captain America didn't want to, like, even if Chris Evans didn't want to leave the franchise, they would have had to have ended his character in some way. Because there's no coming back from picking up the hammer.
No.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he did return it and blah, 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 and all that stuff, but there's no coming back from being that powerful.
He's already OP.
Yeah. So he had to go. And it just... It was perfect.
Yeah, it was
perfect.
great. It was-
But yeah, the execution of that scene,
And
like
the-
you knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just waiting
Yeah.
for it. And when they did it, was,
As soon as Thanos had Stormbreaker, it was just like boom, boom. I'm like,
And then the moment where you see Mjolnir just lift up, and you don't see the hand or anything, and,
Yeah.
then it flies like, and it's just so quiet. It's so good, and I love the bit that leads into when you get the moment of the snap has happened, and you get the radios like Cap on your left, and then the doors start opening.
that
I love
always gives me chills.
I love the
still,
scene
just thinking
immediately
about
before.
that.
I love this shot of Cap alone. With
On the battlefield,
whole forces
with
of
the horde
Thanos.
of
That-
army aliens in front of him.
That whole like last stand fight is just gorgeous, and you know Cap's like, I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna take as many
I'm
of
just
these
gonna keep doing
people
it till
with
I
me
can
as
do this
possible.
all day.
till the end of the line.
Yeah.
And then the moment when it's like, no,
On your left.
I didn't expect this. This is
But
legitimately
what
more than
I love about that shot, though, is you get Thanos reacting to it like, "Oh crap, here we go." But then he just picks up his blade and he's like, "Let's go."
Yeah,
he's ready. He's like, "All right, let's do it." Because I think in a lot of ways it could have gone the other way because he's just so powerful.
And then everyone had so many good hero moments in the entire fight.
Mm-hmm.
I love like Scarlet Witch was like,
You took everything from me, and then Thanos' line,
I don't
like,
know who you are.
Who are you? Like,
right?
There's so many memes from that I just love.
And that's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I remember people talking about being afraid that it was going to be, you know, pixel punch fest. But it was well done.
It was. You see everything really well.
It was
well done.
It was
the Cap Thanos fight, even in 3D and 4DX, where it's jostling you around and you have these stupid ass glasses on your face.
Yeah.
It was so well shot.
It was beautiful.
Conducted.
Yeah.
It was just like, thank you.
And the handing off of the gauntlet, like I said, that relay of the gauntlet to me is one of my favorite parts of that battle.
Yeah. When Peter Parker tries to kind of half-ass hit on
well, no, even
Captain
like
Marvel or
before
whoever it
then,
was.
when Hawkeye is like trying to run,
I would have ass hit on Captain Marvel.
Sure.
Here comes T'Challa. He's like, give it to me. And if you're going to give it to anybody who's not Cap, because of that, you know, speed and the power that he has within the suit, it's got to be Black Panther. Because he can dodge, he can run around all that people, and then the handoff to
Spidey gets it, and you have Valkyrie showing up.
Yeah,
and
like
it's like
that whole relay, I think, was just fantastic.
Super good.
So I was the first time I was watching the movie when they decided to go and use the other time machine. I got a little bit mad. I'm like, are we really going to do it with another time machine? And then the whole thing is just a misdirect.
Yeah.
It's like, I was so happy. It was like, oh,
well, it was a really good call because the whole idea was like, oh, there's a clean ending.
Yeah.
There's something where we can get away without sacrificing people.
Yeah.
And then, no, there's not.
And honestly, that's kind of a traditional comic-y thing to do, of giving you that little red herring of this might be how it ends.
Yeah.
It's like,
but not as usually as well done in movies, though.
But it worked really well.
But this one, it worked.
It was
pretty
really
well.
good.
Yeah.
And you start thinking about, oh, well, you know, Ant-Man and Wasp are doing all this work for nothing. Yeah, it was okay. So there have been a lot of complaints, and the writers for the movie came out and responded to these, that Captain Marvel and Black Panther didn't get enough to do.
Yeah, but
Black Panther kind of had an excuse. He
it's
was snapped away.
You said in the beginning, this is about the first 6.
Yeah,
it is about the first 6. It's about which is what made the movie special, but also, you know, and the responses were, of course, you know, female character gets crapped on, you know, first African American superhero gets crapped on, nothing to do. And the writers came out and did a great interview on IG and said, listen, this movie was in production before Black Panther was a thought in its mama's pants. We've been working on this forever. We had to wedge them in.
Yeah.
The movie was done.
And like I said, I honestly believe it's... Me and Nico were talking about it after our first viewing. Not so much after our second one, because we were just, going over everything else. But the passing off of the gauntlet to us kind of symbolized, like, passing off the next 3 flagship carriers.
Like these characters have the next movies.
Yeah.
They don't need this movie.
Yeah.
Right.
It is the send off for the original set of the Avengers.
Yeah.
And also
the passing of the torch, almost.
well, and also like Black Panther had a lot in Infinity War. Infinity War. And Captain Marvel just came out 2 months prior and had a really big movie. So
I'm okay with them not having the spotlight for this.
But I also feel like it's almost like a Kill Bill situation. Those movies in the future, it's going to be like a torture test to do it, but watching them together is what you want to do, because it's one big story that's...
Oh, and we did it the second time. The second time is what we did. We watched Infinity War that morning and then went to the theater.
Yeah, we decided like 2-3 hours before we actually purchased tickets. We were
watching
let's watch Infinity War.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So I do want to get to the writer bit. So I've said pretty much everything I got on the movie.
Yeah.
The writers and the directors, the Russos, have been bad at this too, because I've just been, especially after they self-proclaimed the spoiler ban to be over, which was because the Far From Home trailer came out that spoiled a lot.
I haven't watched that trailer yet, actually.
Well,
I do appreciate...
The story's over.
I do appreciate that they did have Tom Holland come out and be like, hey guys, if you haven't seen Endgame, please don't watch this.
I do have a problem with that. I love that they did that. But every time a new trailer for a movie comes out and the official release,
there's
say
always the
Marvel
fan
or something,
who
and when they
trigger.
put it out,
Yeah.
and then you have like JoeBlow.com and everybody else puts on their own YouTube accounts. A lot of accounts were
Trims
cutting
that
off
out.
that first bit of the trailer where Tom Holland does the disclaimer of, if you haven't seen Endgame, don't watch the trailer. So that was annoying. But no, my point is, I want the Russos, I want the writers to shut up. I'm tired of seeing this is explained after the fact. It's like, guess what? Peggy was married to Cap all along. It's like, stop it. It's ruining your own canon. It's not in the movie. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
Stop explaining
Yeah.
stuff
If it
about
wasn't
the
in
movie.
the movie, it doesn't count.
I want them to be quiet.
Right. Now, if they want to have an internal document, I'm sure Marvel does have this.
Oh, I'm sure.
That
It's
notes
locked in
all
a
of that
safe in
stuff.
Kevin Feige's office.
Yeah, so that they can kind of
And
keep
that one's a
rein
fake
on
one, and the
canon.
real
I was
one's in his
about to
house.
say,
Can-
it's buried underground in the secret laboratory.
Can I just say before I forget? Can I
Under
just say
Walt
who the
Disney's
real
head.
Yes.
MVP of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is? Sarah Finn, the casting director.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody in this movie was made for their role.
There's only a couple of there's one.
I know you
that
don't like Brie Larson. Get over it.
Brie Larson is a pretty face. That's about it.
Well, first off, I don't like wood, and she's wood.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
that's
so-
not what KJ
all right,
tells us.
but-
She's the new Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
Well, okay. How about the original six?
The original 6 I wouldn't
Fine.
change. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anybody.
Especially Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth. I can't imagine
There's
anybody.
nobody else
Chris
I could
Evans
ever
was
imagine
is
to
Captain
do
America.
Tony Stark.
You could do
Like-
a better Black Widow.
He could do a better Human Torch. Oh wait, he didn't do a better Human
Yeah.
Torch.
I would not say his casting was the problem with that
No,
movie. I
it's
thought
not.
he
No.
was well cast in the movie.
You're right.
While
But the
Michael
casting-
Chiklis' suit was awful, he was well cast.
He was
in
well
that
cast
movie.
also.
But
Yeah.
I mean, from the title characters down to the villains, Josh Brolin as Thanos.
Josh
You wanna talk
Brolin-
about the villain?
Use that.
Okay, Josh Brolin's the only
Loki.
outside of
Loki.
outside of Loki.
Ultron.
Ultron was great.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
he
James
was
Spader was
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, James
You
Spader
could-
was
And
great.
honestly, as much as
Huey Weaving
Nico
is
has
so pretty.
You're
listened
gonna
to
have to
me
rewrite the
gripe,
character too.
as
but,
much as
yeah.
Nico has listened to me gripe about Iron Man 3,
Yeah.
Ben Kingsley as the actor portraying Mandarin
That
was
was-
Okay,
pretty.
That-
I would have liked Ben Kingsley as the actual.
Yes,
Mandarin
I would
instead
have.
of the
I
actor.
still
But-
maintain, I hated the twist. I
I
respect
loved
the
Ben
twist.
King- yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted Ben Kingsley to be
Yeah.
Mandarin.
I just wanted to
but
be
the
that role.
balls
Yeah.
for the twist, I
Yeah.
kind of have to have some
Yeah.
respect for.
I need.
I mean,
I
look
want to
at-
go back
I
and
don't
watch
Look
it
at
again.
original Red Skull.
I respect
that
the
was
twist about.
Hugo Weaving as
Yeah.
Red Skull
I thought it was
was gorgeous.
Yeah,
So-
it's
so
too bad they
back-
couldn't get him back for these
Yeah.
two films.
Back
too.
to Iron Man 3. I like the twist with Ben Kingsley. I don't care about Adric Killian being the man. I don't care about the
Yeah.
payoff, but the twist was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think there are a lot of bland villains. There are a lot of good villains. It goes back and forth.
I don't know. To me, the casting has been
I think
pretty
overall
spot on
casting-
It's
for
been
almost every
it's been
Marvel.
solid
Pretty
for pretty much everybody else,
Mostly
and
solid.
maybe Brie Larson could be fine if her movie was better, and maybe that would help because Captain Marvel,
You and me will just agree to disagree on
right,
that.
Captain
all right.
Marvel will always
This
get
is- this
crushed
is-
by me because they ruined Samuel Jackson's character. They ruined.
All
they
right.
ruined-
So back to Endgame. Back to
Yeah.
Endgame.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up Endgame. We're at an hour 47.
Okay, so the big thing
Yeah.
I want to say about Endgame is I said earlier how I feel like people wanted to go in and get that just emotional moment out or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But as much as some of the loss of character, the death scenes or whatever were powerful and well done. But you know what really struck me and really hit me emotionally? What this movie really is the end of our era of superheroes. It's over. Our Captain America, our Iron Man, our Black Widow, even our Hawkeye, it's done. The passing of the torch, if nothing else, shows you that it's on to the next generation of heroes. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but for me, my childhood investment is over.
You don't mean that.
The movies are still going to be good.
Oh, so you finally taken off your nostalgia glasses?
Well, okay. Well, just to,
No, never.
Just
never.
just to make sure I understand, because we still have Spider-Man movies, and Spider-Man.
I mean,
Yeah.
in this proper universe, to me, Spider-Man is still ancillary in a lot of ways.
but
His movies still Homecoming still feels separate to me. I mean, it does.
Homecoming is still very centralized in the.
But
MCU.
I'm talking about the Avengers right now,
Mm-hmm.
the original 6. We're done with those characters.
Basically, like when we were kids, and we had our superheroes that we started with.
Mm-hmm.
These were the superheroes we started with as movie watchers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Because we had like
I
Batman.
remember
and
you
Superman.
and I going to go see Iron Man, and us walking in and be like, I don't know, because at that point, comic movies were hit or miss.
They were.
And let's be honest, some of the hits weren't even hits. Like,
I remember going to see Iron Man wanting to hate watch it
but
because it looked like crap.
we walked out and we just could not stop talking about it.
So my closest example, I guess I can give you, is when we talk about X-Men.
Yeah.
I think
Claremont era.
the
Is that
Claremont
what?
era X-Men is where I always go to, and for me, there hasn't been an X-Men since that. There have been some good comics here and there.
This is your golden age of.
This
comic
is
book
it. This is the
superhero
end of
movies.
that
Yeah.
golden age.
And now
of
we're going to
MCU.
go into the, I guess, the silver age.
And
Yeah.
for me, the way things are set up, I don't. And you're gonna hate me for this,
Probably.
but I don't feel like the future is bright because I think Brie Larson is meh. I think her character is overpowered.
Yes.
I think Thor has been ruined.
I will say, I mean, you know how huge of a Captain Marvel fan I am. I
love
say,
Captain Marvel.
I will
I love
say,
Captain Marvel from the comics.
even in the movies,
I know,
they
they're
have
pushing
to
button now.
they have to do something to trim her back because at this point,
She's OP.
yeah,
Or keep her off of Earth 100%.
yeah, give her Galactus, yeah,
Yeah, but it's
Give her
like you
Galactus.
start looking at what the future is, and it's a lot of TV shows.
But
and-
here's the caveat.
That's why
on
this
that.
is the final film.
Here's the caveat. to
in
that.
a lot of ways, it really is.
We've got.
You're only going to hurt yourself.
All right,
if you
all right,
keep going.
stop. All right,
Okay.
look, here's the caveat to that because we're in a new era. There are new possibilities because there were possibilities we didn't have 10 years ago.
It's
Yeah.
right. It's true.
Because
mean, we
now,
wouldn't have had-
if you want to talk Claremont again, Marvel's got X-Men. Marvel's got Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And if anybody's going to do those franchises right,
It's
well,
going to be
well,
Marvel.
as much as I really do not want X-Men Cinematic Universe to be in Marvel Cinematic Universe,
I don't want that.
I am
coming.
still
it's coming.
incredibly excited to see Marvel do it properly as opposed to Fox doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
know, there's going to be
Absolutely.
some post-credit scene where Samuel Jackson
Well,
is
I-
talking to someone and they reveal it's a
Well,
bald man
there's a couple
sitting in
things. There's a
wheelchair.
couple things on that. The Russo brothers have said that they were done with the MCU unless Marvel was willing to go Secret Wars. They
Yeah.
would love to do Secret Wars.
Which I think-
I think Secret Wars would be an amazing story because it's not as complex as this one, but it is still something that you could build over several movies.
Yeah.
And then the writers that wrote this one have been saying that they would come back for House of M, which would bring the X-Men into.
House of M could bring it in.
Yeah.
They could even use the events of this movie, the Infinity Gauntlet going off.
Well, Scarlet
Awesome.
Witch is, and their point is Scarlet Witch is set up. She's already been through so much tragedy.
Yeah.
Her brother's dead, Vision's dead.
They could do Scarlet Witch. No
Yeah.
more mutants, and it's like, you know what, mutants?
Yeah.
Just the reverse of House of M.
Well, and one of the arguments that I saw, like it's a
That
fan,
would be
it's
weird,
obviously
though.
a fan theory, but instead of doing no more mutants, she could go no more powers
Something like that.
and take it
Yeah.
all, just take it all away, and that would work too.
that would fix the Hulk. It would just be Bruce Banner.
Right? But yeah, I look at who's left and I'm like, there goes the Avengers that I love.
My most of my favorite Avengers, a good number of my favorite. Cap is gone, and Cap is
The best.
my seminal Avenger character.
Yeah.
Iron Man,
Yeah.
Cap in the comics, Iron Man in the movies for me.
I am hopeful they could do some reworking with Thor.
Yeah.
While
Because-
I feel like Thor, they dropped him with the Guardians and they're just going to keep making him.
I'm kind
episodes.
of curious where they're going to go with that direction, with him
Yeah.
being in the Guardians or him doing the next movie. Because
Because
we know
he has
that-
said that. He has said if they gave him some cool stuff to do, he would keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's signed, I think, another 5-year agreement
Yeah.
to be Thor. And I believe Taika Waititi's on for another Thor movie. And if he could
Okay.
dial back the comedy to be... Like I said, Thor,
Waititi is terrible. He's
Thor-
a terrible director. His direction was terrible.
I don't think
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I don't think it was the direction. I think it was an overcorrection. I think
Yeah.
it was an overcorrection.
Because they
and I
got a
think
lot
can
of
fix
flack for Thor: The Dark World being super
that. Bland.
bland.
But-
Well, it just sucked. It wasn't that it was too dark or too lacking of comedy.
Bland.
It just wasn't
bland,
good.
bland. Yeah.
So
I think they were trying to add spice, and they kind of slipped with the shaker and added.
but
too
if
much.
we can get
And
more,
they tried to go
Yeah.
too far into the Guardians of the Galaxy territory.
Yeah,
What they did in
yeah.
that movie should be left to the Guardians,
But
because that's
if-
where they're the best.
But if they can get Thor more into Infinity War Thor, which is my favorite incarnation of Thor in the entire cinematic universe, right
Agree.
now, that I am on board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree
Yeah.
with that. But it's like I look at this and I see the characters they've got left, and I don't care about the Guardians comics. I never did. I didn't think I would like the movie. I did because it's great. But it's like I'm looking like
You're not as invested in the characters.
Yeah.
no, and it's like reminds me of when I started college and stopped reading comics for 10 years. Because I did. I stepped away from it all during college and starting my careers and stuff, and then came back to it. So yeah, that's the part that impacted me and made me walk out of the movie very sad.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I care that much about what's coming next.
I will say-
other than the continuation of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which is beautiful.
Tom Holland's
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Although they're doing this multiverse thing and trying to bring in Miles Morales and all this.
Well, we don't know if Miles is in
we
the
don't
know
live
about
action.
Miles.
They just mentioned the multiverse, and I don't know how much I buy that because it's Mysterio.
Yeah.
But, so I'm still waiting on watching that movie. I'm really excited for Far
Yeah.
From Home, and I'm still really excited for the possibility of less so X-Men and more so Fantastic Four. If Fantastic Four done
right.
If they could
Yeah.
do Fantastic Four as a family lost in space
Yeah.
comedy with superpowers, which
Because
is what the good
Well,
comic
they-
was.
Legal to
comedy.
the test,
It needs to
I'm
be-
not a Fantastic Four fan. Even when
Oh.
Chris Evans was playing the Human Torch.
it needs to
I love the comics, girl.
Like-
And I loved Jonathan Hickman's run
on Fantastic Four is
yeah.
one of
in
the most
Ultimate
seminal
Fantastic.
runs.
Yeah, and like
It-
most of the Fantastic Four comics that I've read
Which is why I'm really
have been bland to me. But that Nico pointed out,
You got to read
because-
Hickman's run.
Yeah, that's
Which
because
I got.
I'm not reading the right one.
I will
so.
give you that. And I'm super excited because Hickman's taking over X-Men later this summer.
That's a good.
He's doing 2 6-issue miniseries and then taking over the main book because they're going to relaunch the entire X line.
So yeah, I guess there's other Marvel properties that I am excited to see, because I think if anybody can do X-Men right, it'll be Marvel.
I'm not excited because they're supposed to be doing an Eternals movie, and that I give no craps for.
I care nothing about that.
And yet we still have to wait and wait and wait for New Mutants.
which I
Well,
think
that's
is,
a different.
I think
Yeah,
New,
but
I think
still.
New Mutants is going to be bad.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be bad.
I think they're-
something happened in the production because they don't want to put it out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Yeah.
care if they would like release it to Hulu or something. And,
Drop it to VOD.
Yeah.
Drop
Yeah,
it. I would. And
Disney
that's
Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there would probably wouldn't be Disney Plus. It'd probably be Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'cause
Especially
it's-
now.
Can I play a hypothetical?
Mhm.
So what if in the snap, Deadpool was one of the people that was supposed to be snapped, but he's immortal, basically? So he just constantly has dust falling off him. It's like dandruff from hell. He's just like, damn it!
That's not quite how that works, but okay.
That would be great. That would be great. But yeah. I don't know if
There's
what
a
you
lot of
think-
uncertainty about the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It's
It's
I
something
wanna
that
be
we're
optimistic.
going to have to wait and
I
see.
want to be an optimist too, but it really resonated in that same way with me as when I kind of that first time I stepped away from comics. And it took me a long time to come back. Now, to be fair, that's been a lot of years ago, and I haven't left again. But that time in my life when my interest in comics died because of whatever they were doing, and I feel like that's where we are now, and I hate that.
Well,
Going into
whichever direction it goes, whether good or bad, I think this was a solid run.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't wait to get that $500 complete box set with all the movies in 4K and just
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see
Watch
what
them
they
over and over
what they
again.
do for Phase 3.
I don't think they're
Yeah.
doing a Phase 3 set. I think they're just
You
doing.
don't think so?
I mean, if they do,
The only thing that's announced right now is that
That whole 22
I
movie.
don't like the design of the box. It looks
I don't know
like,
what the box is.
It looks like they did the design of the Christopher Nolan stuff. They just got
Yeah,
this
it looks like
big
a
old
cop-out.
Blu-ray
Big old
Yeah.
thick-
with a little cardboard box. Shove
I-
it out
yeah,
there.
it looks like a cop-out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like you. I'm like, let's get
Give me
the
something.
Ultimate Edition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what is
let
it?
me get a like an Infinity
Yeah.
Gauntlet or something.
I want to have to go and make payments on it to own it and make it
Oh,
amazing.
can you imagine a replica of the Gauntlet?
Be amazing. Open that thing up like the Phantasm that all the discs
Or
are
even
inside.
if it's split into two, where you have like the Thanos gauntlet and then the Iron Man gauntlet.
It's too well. There's so many
That'll be
movies in
good.
Phase 2 or Phase 3. It kind of needs to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hold out hope for what's going to happen next. But yeah, that's the thing that struck me the most. I don't know what struck you the most.
Were they the same fist?
Huh?
The gauntlets.
What about them?
They were different fists.
Yeah, they were different fists. So you can go bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I didn't even think about that until right now. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They should
Get on it, Marvel.
Remember when they put those big giant gloves out of the Hulk fist?
Yeah.
They should do that so you can wear both gauntlets and walk around.
Oh, man.
It's just snapping.
Oh,
We will be accepting payments via PayPal, Venmo.
One possible comic continuity error. In Marvel comic continuity, Infinity Gems only work in the universe they're from. When they made a split timeline, those gems should not have worked anymore.
That is a good point.
Yeah, he went on. He
Fix
went
it,
on
Marvel.
a good rant about that for
All right,
about
That's
20
awesome.
minutes.
So, what do you think? What was your takeaway? 22 movies and 10 years later, what are you taking away from all this?
God, I need a new hobby.
Yeah, I know, right? Right?
No, I have enjoyed most every minute. I mean,
Even the moments I didn't enjoy, I still enjoyed.
I can sum it up in one line. I can do this all day.
Yep.
No, you literally can't. There are way too many movies to do in one day.
You'd have to do it like all week.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like me watching the entire run of Game of Thrones in a week. I did that though.
I am glad to have experienced this cinematic endeavor. I just as every time, if there's an event, a comic event that actually
It
blows
was
my socks off.
painful at times.
This did it. This,
Waiting, or just I can't believe they did that, or just
and I never would have imagined 10 years ago to be at this point where this movie's made $700 million in America alone. It has surpassed Titanic as the second highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah.
it's catching up to Avatar.
It's gonna pass
Yeah.
Avatar.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
never would have imagined a comic
book
franchise,
movie,
let
yeah.
alone Marvel Spider-Man lead one. Because a decade ago, it was like Marvel and Spider-Man, and everything else was B tier. Even the X-Men, which did okay, wasn't making Spider-Man money.
No.
Yeah.
And you know what? X-Men 2 does not hold up as well as I'd like it to.
Gee, what a surprise!
I
am shocked.
I am depressed because Dark Phoenix is going to be trash.
It's gonna be terrible.
And
I'm still gonna watch it though.
Still going to watch it, but it's
And
gonna be garbage.
I've seen the actor a lot now that plays Dark Phoenix,
Yeah.
and I maintain what I said before I saw any of Game of Thrones. She sucks. She's not good. She is no Dark
She's
Phoenix.
good in Game of Thrones.
She's fine in Game of Thrones, but she is not
Outside
charismatic.
Game of Thrones,
I wouldn't blame the actress.
But I also don't feel like she's charismatic enough to be that character.
I think she probably could be, but I think the problem is the direction.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
so
probably true.
we're
But-
past the 2 hour mark.
All right.
I know,
Okay,
I know.
let's stop.
But even if like Zach is not as much a fan of this stuff,
He still gave it an 8.
yeah.
8 out of 10.
yeah.
Well,
I gave it an A.
the-
A B
eight.
plus.
The thing
Eight.
that the thing
number-
that
The number 8.
exactly
8.
8.5.
Yes.
8.5. That's what
I think
8.5.
8.5 to 9 is where it would be.
Yeah, same.
But this is
And
a high.
Infinity War was a 9.
Even if you're not a fan of these movies, though, this is a high point for anybody who's a student of film, because this has never been done before.
Yeah.
And they did it and made billions of dollars.
This is
And
this is a
people
lesson.
are already trying to like copy it,
And no
copy the
one can
formula.
do it.
Yeah,
No one has
Well,
done
because
it.
they're trying to go to the finish line first.
Yeah, everyone's
Oh,
trying
let's
to
do 2 movies and go for the big one.
Yeah, everyone's trying to do the
DC.
DC's trying to go the quick way around. It's not working. You
Yeah,
have franchises that have nothing to do with this kind of connected universe telling, like Dark Universe that Universal was trying to do with the Mummy. Well, first with Dracula, and then that didn't work.
That
and
didn't
then with
work.
the Mummy, and then that didn't work. So you have
Lord, that movie didn't work.
it's hard, and it just shows the effort and forethought.
and honestly, the love that goes into it. If it was made by somebody who wasn't a fan of the comics, I
Yeah.
don't think they'd be nearly as successful.
And honestly,
Yeah.
Tina was talking about the casting director as the MVP. Let's face it, the real MVP of this entire
It's
saga
Kevin Feige.
is
Yeah.
Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Because this doesn't work without a Kevin
Yeah.
Feige.
Yeah.
It's the reason he also has handprints.
I mean,
on
Lord,
Chinese theater
Lord
now.
help
The-
Marvel if he ever retires.
The 6 Avengers and Kevin Feige got their handprints.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he survived, not only that, like a fledgling movie studio that was still co-producing with other major studios.
borrowing money from Paramount.
Borrow money
Yeah.
from Paramount
Yeah.
to getting bought out by Disney and taking a stakehold there to be like, I'm still the boss of these movies,
Right.
And to Disney, and
Yeah.
because Disney knows, like, yeah, you're the one making the money. You're why we bought Marvel.
Yeah.
and it's that kind of personality and character is. That's the reason the other franchises don't work. It's not necessarily because the material isn't there. It's because you don't have a guy that's just there to do the work.
With an idea and a clear vision on how it should happen.
Yeah.
But the thing is we go to, Zach and I go to old movies, and you guys go sometimes too, all the time at the Belcourt. Historic things like Jaws, first blockbuster, or Star Wars, or all these things, The Shining, or whatever, that happened before our time, when we're...
Which we would have been in those seats.
We're going to be those people now, and it's like, I was in the theaters in 77.
Dude, when we're dust, when we are gone, we will
When we
have
have
gotten
been
to
snapped.
participate in a moment in cinematic history that was based off crap that we like to read as kids and stories.
That people made fun of us for.
Yeah.
The people who talk about it, it's like, I was in a theater watching Star Wars in 77. I was in a theater watching Iron Man in 2007.
Yeah. That's
Nine.
the thing. So that's our thing. That's our thing.
2009. Iron Man.
2008.
Sorry.
8.
We were both
Eight,
wrong.
2008.
Okay.
Came out
2000.
right before Dark Knight, and
Yeah.
the whole thing.
'Cause I remember we were together.
Was gonna kick your ass.
Yeah.
Like, we were together at that point, because you and I saw it together, and I didn't even... Well, I knew
No,
you,
we saw
but-
it. We saw it a second time because I saw it in theaters, but we saw it on campus. That's when
Yeah.
we saw it again.
All right.
But we were together.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Any final thoughts?
that's it. It's
That's it.
All right.
the end game.
It is the end game. It's the end of this game anyway. Tina, where are we going to find you on the internet? Would you like to...
You can find me at Divinity Avalon on Instagram and Cheddar Popper, CHEDRPOPPR on Twitter.
All right. Zach?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm Master of Matrix 91. You can also find me on Steam, a dangerous mute lunatic. I replayed Machinarium this week, which is really comfy. You should play that. Steven should try to play that.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Nico, where are we going to find you on the internet?
You can find me on all finer social networks, mostly Twitter and Instagram, under Nico Scream, and you can find me posting comics that come out weekly on Culturesmash.tv.
Although you won't be finding him for a while, because they'll be playing Spooderman.
Yeah, also playing Spider-Man under Tina's profile on PlayStation 4.
There
Thank
you
you
go.
for the trophies.
So find me at all things Culture Smash, mostly Facebook and Instagram, and check out Family Affair on the Facebook. Also, you can follow our Family Affair movie, follow the happenings there. And Zach and I this past week also released a previously unreleased documentary that we did, Dramatique, much different subject, but it is out. And
Finally.
And the drama is already happening.
Oh,
It is already happening since it is out. So you can look that up on Facebook also, and it's available on Amazon Prime right now. Dramatique with a QUE. So prepare yourselves. Next week will be a
We're going to do this again for Game of Thrones!
and it'd probably be a very different conversation. I'm just
Oh, I got some things to say.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody!